Welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New York Poets Cafe. I am your host for the evening. My name is Advocate of Wordz, and it's beautiful to see you all. This is our 18th show. Today, they're admitting. Sorry, I had to admit some more people. So today, our theme is Ode to an Elder. That's what we're hoping to hear today. Poets have 4 minutes to share their poems, and then we speak for a little bit about who you are and stuff like that. Let me make sure I got everyone muted and let everyone in. Awesome. So before we begin, always got to mention the people that make this possible. We would like to thank the NEA, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. You too can support us with a tax-deductible donation at nuyorican.org/contribute or via Cash App by sending it to Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Want to give a shout out to the producers behind the scene. Of course, the man with the best hair in the game, Jason Quinones. And tonight, the man who's going to be doing most of the work, Nick Louise. Appreciate you fellas a whole lot. So if you saw earlier, I gave out the themes. The theme, like I said, for today is Ode to an Elder. Next week's theme is going to be dreams. And then the week after that, there's no theme. You can write whatever you want. And then if you take a look, if you got to see the video earlier, you saw at the bottom on August 17th, the theme is going to be Volta. Now, Volta is usually talked about when it comes to sonnets. You don't have to write a sonnet, but a Volta means the turn. And every sonnet, depending on how it's structured, about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through, it's supposed to turn. The story's supposed to take a turn. So that is what I want to see. I also want to shout out, I see Kylene Brackens and Max C are together. There are so many couples on this community. So before we do begin, I feel like I have to mention this. In some more serious news, one of our family members, one of our community members, Gigi, she recently lost her father a couple of days ago. So I definitely wanted to mention her, that our thought and our hearts and our prayers are with her. I'm sure she's not watching, she's with her family, but had to put that out there. Gigi has been to practically every open mic that we've done, except for last weekend, this week, of course, because of her father. So we love you, Gigi. Our hearts are with you. I had to put that out there. So I believe I have caught everything. Also, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you want to join us on Zoom, the number is 279-995-364. Once again, 279-995-364. So with that, also, I know that a lot of people may have not gotten the emails or they got the emails late. They weren't sure about those who signed up. So we did have some problems this week. We're looking into it, going to make sure we don't have those problems again. And I know we didn't show it on the list, but number one on the list is actually Miro. So somehow she got to sign up earlier. Again, we're going to have to look at all those problems, but we can't take it out on you guys for signing up and following the instructions. And so want to make sure that we get Miro in. So let me unmute Miro from West Virginia, who was with us last week. There we go. Hey, Miro, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. And sorry about the mix-up, misunderstanding and all that.
Oh, no, that was on our end. No problem. I appreciate you sticking around the whole time last week to share, and I'm glad you're going to be able to share now. So you ready to go?
Yeah, I am actually. So I know you gave a theme, but I decided to overlook that because I was really inspired by The Withdrawn and Ray Jane last week with their breakup poems. So I ended the most serious relationship of my life in December, and I've been wanting to write about it. So here it is. And I have another poem as well afterwards. It's shorter, if I may. First poem. I loved you because you took your time, got to know me, took it slow, respected me. Low standards? Yeah, maybe. I gave myself to you entirely. Your attentiveness and consideration was an aphrodisiac that kept me coming back towards you. My mind overwhelmed with us, singing your praises, clinging to your touch, replaying our candlelit moments and such. Over and over again, I looked past your red flags, choosing instead our blissful refrain, a future together, a life that's better. I made excuses for you, to my friends, to myself. If you only knew. To justify your behavior, oh, Matthew, he had a hard day. He didn't mean it. It's not true. We'll see this through. Matthew, the one, I thought, but as time drove on, your presence no longer brought the happy hopefulness I acquired from our union. I began to see through the delusion created for your sake, yet still I questioned what I was experiencing. Had I made a mistake? Was this real, actually happening? Reduced to housekeeper, your extra pair of hands to talk down to, boss around, leaving me exhausted, my life force drained, suffocated? Yeah, we talked about it. Chats that lifted my spirit until I realized that what we discussed never stuck. A few weeks later, it was bust. My resentment growing, hurt expanding. No one's perfect, but you became distant, frustrated, passive aggressive. Do better, you shouted at me in front of your friend, your family, and so many other moments of unpleasantness left me with no choice. I was depressed, drained, demoralized, broken, a shadow of my former self, which didn't seem to concern you much until I broke up with you. All of a sudden, not really though, you said you were waiting for this to happen. Matthew, I can't even. It was difficult, the grief was overwhelming, couldn't sleep. 3 years vanished like a thief in the darkness, but the sensation of relief took over, engulfed me in warm comfort, and I was able to leave triumphant, unencumbered. So poem number 2, thank you. This one is called I Miss, and it's sort of about the times we're in. I miss the certainty of tomorrow. I miss the sanity of a deeply wounded and corrupt world, because at least there was the guarantee of seeing friends, going to work without fear, hitting up the movies, killing afternoons in museums. I miss the cafes. I miss the luxury of lingering over a cappuccino, people watching, casually eavesdropping, reading in an atmosphere at once soft and relaxed, but bustling. I miss making plans to meet up. I miss getting annoyed when those plans get postponed. I miss the stability of the old world, fucked up though it was when we could gather in protest without the dread sitting heavy on all of us now. I don't know how, but I miss the hustling crowds of big cities, people crashing into each other without pity. I miss the mediocrities of every day, mourning it at home, staying safe, out of the way.
Give it up for Miro. Unmute yourself and give it up for her.
Thank you.
Get it, Miro.
Thank you.
That was Miro. Let me unmute Miro so she can let us know where we can find her online. Where can the people find you online, Miro?
Cool. So I'm on Instagram. It's Miro Reads Books, all one word. So it kind of looks like Mirror Reads Books. It's more of a literary platform than a writing one, but it'll transform, I'm sure. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Miro. Make sure you type it in the chat as well, okay?
I will. Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. Thank you.
That was Miro. Make sure you give her a follow. She's going to put it in the chat. And for those of you joining us late, this is the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Those people who were performing tonight, they signed up yesterday. So if you ever want to sign up for a Monday night, you go on to nuyorican.org. Then when you get there, you click on full events calendar and you would choose the Monday you want to sign up for. It opens up Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, the day before, you can go and sign up. And those of you who are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, thank you for checking us out. If you want to join us on Zoom, the number is 279-995-364. Next, coming up to the mic, representing Central Massachusetts. She is a mainstay here at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe's online open mic, except for one Monday. But she was a feature and she had to go rock out, and we support her. Give it up for Christina. Let me unmute Christina. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well today. I'm doing well. So did you write to the theme or you got something of your own?
Kind of took the theme and threw it into a different direction.
I love it. I love when poets do it. All right. I'm going to mute myself. I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. Age is just a number, you had always said. It's one of the few truths that you ever told me. because it is just a number. I would smile and look into your eyes as though that was the only thing that I ever needed to hear, that your face was the only thing that I ever needed to see. But there were 9 years, almost 2 handfuls, and that should have been a flag for you. What were you possibly thinking? I mean, it probably should have been a flag for me too. What I want to say is that I probably should have never flirted back and admired the attention, but then here I go taking blame for things, and I just can't do that anymore. I needed you to be the adult that I never had to look up to, but instead you were the man who wished that he was a boy, that wanted me, the girl, to be a woman, and I wanted to be that woman so badly, but I was still the girl trying to find herself through the hallways and the slamming lockers. 16, but you had gotten to have so many experiences that I didn't really get to have until you, those experiences that I probably should have never had with you, kisses that became currency and eventually lost all value. Stepping up to intertwine legs, dressing up my dressing up, but became hands that wrapped around throats and wrists that pulled me back as I accepted angry love. 17, but your words sounded like music jumping from your lips to my ears. You knew exactly what to say, when to say, and how to say it all. You'd make me smile and laugh, and that is really the first time that I ever actually recognized that my toothy smile really wasn't so bad after all, that I could throw my arms into the air and they could land around your neck. But words morphed and twisted into my hair, became chained around my body like a leash, and I started to believe that that is exactly what love should be, manipulative, back and forth, dancing where everyone's toes are stepped on. That's just how it had to be. 18, but you reminded me of it often, told me how boys my age would never treat me like you did. And you were right, but I just couldn't see past that honeymoon phase, because boys my age never left bruises on my thighs, because boys my age never sprinkled magic and money over fights that ended with doors slamming, backs pushed into corners, hoping to forget it never happened. Because a boy my age actually asked me for ice cream, and I thought that was the weirdest thing, but at 18, probably should have been what I was hoping for the whole time.
Wow.
Christina, that was so good. Wow. Like,
Jenna's gonna love this.
Christina flipped it. I love it. Let me unmute Chris. Oh, wait. Unmuted the wrong person. Let me unmute Christina. There we go. Christina, I love the way you flipped it. Well, you know, like you took it in a different direction. I appreciate it. Where can the people follow you online?
Yep. On Instagram, my handle is Run, Sweat, Eat, Repeat.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. As always, make sure you go follow Christina. She's a beast. She's a beast with the pen. She's a beast with the weights too, man. So her squat 200, right? It was 200 pounds. Wait, let me unmute her one more time. It was 200.
Yeah, it was 200, but the powerlifting meet that I had signed up for in March that got canceled because of COVID is rescheduled for 3 weeks, and I'm lifting.
Nice. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, Christina.
I'm excited. It'll be good. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Christina. Make sure also you put in the chat where they can find you on Instagram so everyone can go follow her journey. Make sure you check it out. Okay, next coming up is a gentleman that I met last time I hosted the open mic. Where's Andy? Andy Merck. Where did Andy go? Oh, there he is. Andy Markert. I say that last name right again? You should be able to unmute yourself.
You did, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And I love the picture in the background, Andy. All right, go ahead. Share your poem.
All right, I tried to stay on theme somewhat, so here we go. My name is Andy, and I'm an addict. And what that means is I have a fundamental problem, a missed connection, a broken train station stop between obsession and compulsion. I like to leap off cliffs. I leapt off cliffs so high and soared like a madman down into the depths to crash into the cold, hard ground of reality, broken on the bathroom floor of a Catholic high school as principals pounded on the door as I sat in a cold sweat-soaked white Oxford shirt and cheap khaki slacks, wrong shoes on my feet, my perfectly tied tie, swimming in a toilet bowl I'd rather not discuss. I leapt from cliffs so high, was halfway down before I realized I didn't have a chute, I didn't have a prayer, and I sure as fuck didn't have a plan, and I landed in a circle of folded chairs. Chairs occupied by hard people, chairs occupied by broken people who had fallen that same fall as me and didn't look like me, but were smiling. They surveyed my teenage wreckage. People as young as me didn't end up in places like this. People as young as me tended to die in the descent. That night, I got my first ever real hug. My lovers will tell you I'm not the easiest person to touch. I get jumpy, I get scared, I tense up. Because when you give away your body for your compulsion, you pick up habits of survival. These habits of survival become the defects of your character. Because adult life is about more than just survival. I explain constantly that it's not them, it's me. That it's okay. That I'm difficult to learn to touch and even harder to love. I didn't mind when Jory hugged me. She asked me what my name was. And I answered, my name is Andy, and I'm an addict. And I was saved and taught and molded and educated and shamed and loved by thousands of people from all over the world in a sea of circled chairs. They offered me their love without condition. They taught me how to drive, how to kiss, how to fuck, how to sleep, how to be a man, how to sit and how to listen, how to love, and how to grieve. Each lesson inscribed by people who are no longer with us, who burned too bright and died young, old before their time. A list of names like Larry, Mike, Erica, Little Bob, and then Big Bob, Stephen, Brian, Evnita, and Jory. Each one living through me in my actions. Today, who I am hangs in a closet quietly behind my gaze. My identity is my secret, my tiny treasured thing that comes out when everything is quiet as I listen. But you'll feel Jory when I hug you. Thanks.
Give it up for Andy. Unmute yourself and give it up for him. Give that man some energy.
Get it.
Let me unmute Andy one more time, man. I appreciate the passion in which you shared your poem and the vulnerability. Andy, where can the people follow you online, brother?
You can find me on Instagram at Andy Meerkat with 2 T's. You can find me on Venmo at Andy-Markhurt.
Thank you, Andy. Make sure you also put your information in the chat. Type it up, please. Thank you. And get yourself a drink, man. I want you to stick around with us to listen to the rest of the poems. And good, he got himself a drink, man. It's not easy. And also, I don't know if any of you feel this, but there is this thing like after you perform and speak with a large crowd, even online, like you still have a great deal of energy, and coming down is really difficult, especially like when you're that vulnerable. So breathe for me, Andy. I appreciate what you shared with us, brother. Next, coming up, we going to my home borough, my backyard, the Bronx, and we are going to speak with Roz. Let me unmute Roz. Go ahead. You should be able to. There we go. How are you, Roz?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Excited for this next theme, and I hope you guys like it. It's an ode to my grandmother who raised me, and it is called Designer of My Crown. Sometime in 1989, your eyes met mine for the first time, and you took me in with arms wide open. Mom and Dad received the blessing before they knew how to count their blessings, and you stepped up, divinely chosen. My lifeline, my hero, my biggest fan. With the smallest yet strongest hands, you raised me. Raised me from the nightmare it could have been to the victory it was meant to be. Mommy, my biggest cheerleader. You would put me in my place in a blink of an eye, and behind my back, brag about me, gloating with pride at the fighter you helped create. Your goal was always to compensate for the unusual anatomy of the family tree. that created me, you supported me through every obstacle and my journey. And for that, I am eternally grateful. You're so independent, giving, and faithful. As the years pass and time makes its mark on your oh so familiar face, in the form of creases around your eyelids and the corners of your mouth, wishing I could freeze time, but nevertheless proud. Proud to be a product of you. Happy that you are able to see the fruits of your labor and that you too get to savor my triumphs with me. I'm glad to have you and even the smell of your food leading me home. My promise to you is to never leave you alone because you have had my back unconditionally. I cherish the chats over coffee and inevitable strolls down memory lane. It's hard to explain what you mean to me. I'm just elated to be able to pick up the phone and ask you for la bendición because you are indeed my biggest blessing. My Achilles heel, my weakness, and yet at the same time, you strengthen me. I promise to be the highlight of your legacy. Designer of my crown, my very own queen, you will always be. I love you, mommy. That's it.
Aww.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Roz.
I lost the grandma.
Voila.
Beautiful, Roz. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Always got to give it up for the grandmas. Let me unmute Roz right now. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself, Roz. I appreciate your vulnerability too. Closest person in my life was my grandmother, so I know how that is. Roz,
Yeah,
how
I
can
mean, the words, I mean, words can't even, like, they don't do it justice, but all we can do is try. I am at Through Her Big Brown Eyes on IG. I also have throughherbigbrownyes.com. I will put it in the chat. And thank you so much, you guys, for listening in and always being so supportive of me.
Thank you, Roz. I appreciate it. That was Roz. Make sure you check her out through herbigbrowneyes.com and through Her Big Brown Eyes on Instagram. Next coming up was supposed to be Ron, but Ron had actually signed up for Diane Ward. So it's Diane Ward who is next. Let me unmute Diane so we can listen to her. Hi, Diane. Thank you for being here again. How are you?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you. I stayed with the theme and I started with one of my ancestors and developed it through with everyone else, which makes me what I am. All right. Leaving volcanoes, my blood Carib, African and Hun beauty, blessed, given me not of my own volition, but by them, my gene pool meteors, my blood and soul reincarnated by face, body type, maybe occupation, intelligence reborn. I am, we are, them, rebirth. We carry their souls. They are the wind above, beneath, and giveth breath, the breath we took out here as within us in the womb, our womb breath, our ancestors bequeathed each of us. Their breath, their breathing from my heart contains the multiple hearts of my ancestors. I try to make them proud of me, their daughter, their child, theirs, ours, and mine, spirits combined to make the world family. But first, the nucleus of our own nuggeted subatomic sense to build from the greater goodness. We are part of our ancestors' goodness, who always knew we'd embrace the greater cosmos, look to entwine with good and cast off the infected. Always gaining the cleansing and the perfection for the positive, the truth, the substantive structure in each of our molecules. Oh, our molecules are ancestral and maintain their memories of Edens and lushes and beauty and waterfalls, birds, lizards, groves, surf, grace, joy, and love. Most of all, love and community. We exist because we and I loved each other, came together, procreated, and created us. All that energy was not wasted on us. You see, we are here, my lovelies, against familiar tyrannies, leaving volcanoes, landing in lava. My ancestral religious mixture, the homogeneous, bountiful mosaic, and it serves me through the boat rides, the wavy shores, the slow moving melting of land for years toiled for food, for home. Landing in lava, man-made, deceitful and flowing, hot and molten, some still flowing, some has cooled. Oh, for prosperity, mislabeling it as their honest, honorable contribution. Ah, lava smashed and chipped, saved for heritage museums, and remembered where we came from and how we stopped. I stopped, together, you, me, this daughter, dammed their flow.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Diane.
Thank you, Diane. That was awesome.
Diane Ward. And I think it was Mira who had said in the chat, like when she was reading, like there's this warmth she was giving off. Diane, the people love you. Where can they find you online?
They can find me right here when you allow me to read.
I got you. You want to hear from Diane? We exclusively got the rights right here. Diane,
between you and Ron.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate the energy. Like, yeah, there was this warmth when she was reciting. Make sure, Diane, too, that you go and you look in the chat. A lot of people are saying a lot of nice things about your reading and your poetry. So make sure you check it out. And thank you, Ron, for signing up Diane. Now we're going out to the UK to a woman who's a fantastic poet. And we are so happy that she loses sleep so she can join us. And that is Monique McPherson. Monique, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. Thank you. I'm good.
Great. You ready to go?
I am, and
Yeah.
it's on theme as well. Ode to an Elder. I've just 3 memories, 2 I hold dear. I remember you peeling an apple on the bed, and your thick-rimmed glasses worn in those days, and the shiniest black hair adorning your head. You're only 3 years older, but auntie to Gran. Mum admitted she loved you that little bit more. She said it was great going round to your house. With the personal staff, Mum escaped any chores. I wonder what life would have been like back then if you hadn't flown over, and at yours we did stay. I gave it no more thought. I was just a child, but I assumed I would go to Guyana one day. I don't remember how old I was then, but my mum was clutching a Bakelite phone. I watched her through the kitchen hatch as she sat in the living room all alone. With a clunk to the cradle, Mum ended that call. Then she put her head in her hands and she cried. A heart-wrenching scene through a hole in the wall. Childhood intuition told me you died. I remember our visit to you at your wake with an open casket for all to see. My big brother bolted while Mummy just cried. You looked absolutely lovely and peaceful to me. So beautifully dressed in an ivory suit, immaculate hair, so rosy-cheeked. I felt such serenity, tranquil and calm. I'm glad I was brave, and I'm glad that I peaked. Years later in life, when things got too tough and I couldn't catch sight of any way through, up pops a light at the end of the tunnel, and I wonder if I'm protected by you. My mum tells me the same. It's the same for her. She turns when times are hard and she's really stuck. An unusual event would pay for her rent by some amazing stroke of luck. When I see a butterfly flying real close or a lovely white feather falls down beside me, I feel grateful I'm guided, protected and loved, and I'm blessed to have met my great, great auntie.
That was Monique McPherson. Unmute yourself and give it
Sorry
up for
about the
her.
mistakes. I made some mistakes today.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Love it, love it. Let me unmute her and hold on. Let me make sure I get everyone muted. And now let me unmute Monique so we can hear Monique.
Thank
Monique,
you. Forgive my mistakes tonight, because I was going to read Ode to My Sister, but then I thought it was too personal. And I was going to read Ode to My Brother because I had those written already, but it was too short. So I literally wrote that like 2 hours ago. So that's why I made a couple of mistakes.
No, I didn't even know you made mistakes until you started mentioning it. So don't even worry about it. Just keep it going. You just improvise. You act like it's all part of it. But I enjoyed it. What I really enjoy about your poetry is like there is rhythm. If anyone's ever taken a workshop by me, I stress rhythm in poetry. It's so important. So even when you don't rhyme, there's still rhythm. Monique, where can the people find you and your rhythm online?
I still haven't sorted out an Instagram, but I will. But I have an email if you want to say hi, and it's warriormum@protonmail.com.
Warrior Mum, M-U-M, correct?
Yes.
There you go. There you go. Monique, thank you so much. Stick around with us a little bit before you go to bed. I know you stay up late, but if you can,
I'll have a coffee. I will try.
There we go. Awesome. That is Monique McPherson. Love a rhythm. I love it. Okay, next coming up is another poet who's got a lot of rhythm. Coming back, he's in Jersey City, man, and that is Scott Pleasance. Well, not Jersey City. He's in Jersey, but not Jersey. There you go. Where in Jersey are you, Scott? Or you can't tell?
No, I'm good. I'm in Teaneck, man. I'm only about like 10 minutes on the other side of the bridge. So
okay.
Yeah, shout out to Teaneck. Okay.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Well, I'm glad you signed up. I know like every week you come and you hang out with us, but I'm glad you signed up again. I miss hearing your poetry. So go ahead, man. Do your thing.
You got it. So I'm gonna stick with the theme. Starting this off with a quote. Most visionaries are born so ahead of their time, they must sequester themselves in the world of poetry or philosophy to express what they hope to see. Congressman John Lewis. I was inspired last week when it was mentioned that the theme this week would be Ode to an Elder. I immediately thought of a piece that I had written many years ago called Ode to the Poets. In this piece, I referenced the works of H. Rap Brown, Nikki Giovanni, Langston Hughes, Count D. Cullen, amongst others. Count D. Cullen and Langston Hughes were poets from the Harlem Renaissance in the 1920s. They wrote about the changes in the world at that time. And for those that are poetically lacing the changes that are happening today, keep the expressions going as the pendulum of life swings. Your turn at feeling the breath of a new moment, a new day will come. Reminder, elders leave footprints in different forms. They are the sidewalks that we travel. Although we may walk in different directions or move in a different lane, many paths have been laid before us and for us. Laid in the blood of our ancestors, the sweat of our parents, and the tears of our siblings. They are displayed in scars, expressed in poems, and sometimes carried in indelible fields. As visionaries, our words are always written with purpose, and they are recited with the intent of releasing a thought from our minds and allowing that thought to move into a space, a place that we no longer control. And within that uncontrolled space, the words become devaluable, available for consumption, digestion, and regurgitation. I turn the page to another elderly statesman, Mr. Emmanuel St. Bernard. He is 89 years old and most likely will never hear these words directly. But as I told him the other day, if he feels a cool sensation in his ears, not to worry, because it's just me talking about him. He told me that despite the ailments within his failing body, today was a good day. Now, take my hand and walk with me, and I'll guide you through a journey of a man, just a man, who saw the potential in a youngster, so much so that when he looked into his eyes, the reflection guarded the very essence of himself, a kindred spirit, of a child that was introduced in the cloth and coverings of his own children. Although not conceived genetically, the kinetics moved like a pebble laid in the center of a pond, and the ripples of the water gently but purposefully swelled in the direction of least resistance. And for over 30 years, it would move with the ease towards the outer edges of life. And to take it further, Have you ever wrapped your arms around a cloud and squeezed it so hard that you made it rain upon the scalps of a child and the moisture immersed into their minds and parlayed a thought that brought tears to your eyes, and you cried a river that evaporated and the condensation rose to the heights of the heavens, which allowed this manifestation to occur time and time again? Did y'all follow me on that last one? I'm gonna say it again. Have you ever wrapped your arms around a cloud and squeezed it so hard that you made it rain upon the scalps of a child and the moisture immersed into their minds and parlayed a thought that brought tears to your eyes, and you cried a river that evaporated and the condensation rose to the heights of the heavens, which allowed this manifestation to occur time and time again? This is an ode to the elders. Peace.
Give it up for Mr. Scott Pleasance. Unmute yourself and clap for him.
Damn, Scott.
My man.
Damn, Scott. Damn.
Scott Pleasance. He had to hit us twice with that line in his poem. He was like, "No, I'm not done. No, I got to nuke y'all again." Yeah, you should be able to. There you go, Scott. Please let the people know where they can find you online.
Yeah. I'm at Scott Pleasance on Facebook, and I'm at Poet33 kind of everywhere else. I'll put it in the chat. Appreciate it again.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Scott Pleasance. He has I think it was Kai Brackens who had said that he has a strong narrative voice, and I agree, Kai. I really do. Next, coming up, we're going out to Colorado to Mr. Michael Sindler, who I believe had some issues trying to sign up last week. So I'm glad you're here with us this week. Oh, he just muted himself. He was on mute. Hold on. Let's try that again. And you should be able, there we go. How are you, Michael?
I'm good, man. Yeah, it's good to be back. Let me see. I had myself up here. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do one. It's fairly short, so I'm going to try and sneak another real short one in afterwards. This is called Cultivation. Like a stone atop a gravestone, let these words show I'm with you now. In my thoughts, if not in person, twisting syllables to show you how you echo from inside my voice, spreading outward through time and space, kindness you shared, lessons you taught, taken to the heart, never erased. All the best inside of me, all the best that I create, blossoms from the patient seed you spent such care to cultivate. Like a water drop that ripples out from the center to the shore, each ring a lifetime's advance, journey from student to mentor, in the slow race towards empathy, passing enlightenment's baton to the next young, fresh runner in the endless marathon. All we endeavor to create, all we endeavor to endure is futile without the impetus of the wave that came before. Oh, doula at the birth of love, from the mother of all sanity, in the cradle of compassion rests the essence of humanity. What little wisdom I've gained, everything I know to be true, I found before me, seeing it is manifest inside of you. All the power we possess, all the power we disperse, is but a gift we give and take, lent to us by the universe. And so I give thanks where it is due, anchor, compass, map, and guide, wishing I'd better understood and let you know before you died. Despite the pain and suffering I caused, I could depend on you. You tended the garden of my soul, watered by tears when I said adieu. All the best inside of me, all the best that I create, blossoms from the patient seed you spent such care to cultivate. And I'm gonna just do this other one. This is really rough, and it's more just rant than actual poetry, but it's just something that I feel I want to get across. It's called Bridge, a Ringa for John Lewis. He gave more in a day than most do in a life, but he gave every day as if it was the last chance to pass on the torch of love. He showed compassion while being kicked and beaten, never forgetting that the sickness that is hate can only be cured with love. He willed himself to transform anger to action, remaining peaceful with implacable courage and the soul of a healer. He was a bridge to the future, helping everyone cross over his strong back, never breaking, no matter the weight or pain. Bronze and stone statues will fall and be forgotten, fleeting monuments to valor or to hubris. His monument is progress. Thank you.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Michael Sindler.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you.
And Mr. Michael Sindler, I don't believe you're online, but you're going to direct people to other stuff that's going on in Denver, correct?
I've got nothing really going on. If you want to learn something in Denver, Lighthouse Writers Center actually has a lot of really cool things going on. They got a lot of stuff going on virtually right now. So I'm just going to put their site up just to have something. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank y'all, everybody. Love you.
Thank you, Michael. Michael Sindler. And for those of you joining us late, and I keep talking about in the chat, I'm talking about in the Zoom chat. So if you're watching this through Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, you could join us on Zoom, 279-995-364. Again, 279-995-364. Now, next we're going to, first off, she better behave before I unmute her. Okay. And that is Kai Brackens. Don't give me that look, Kai. I've been watching your videos and whatnot. You know what I mean? This is a family show. Okay, Kai? Just want to let you know. But how are you?
I'm a little offended, but okay.
It's not your turn, Max. It's Kai's turn. How are you, Kai?
I'm doing pretty all right. You know,
That's-
I've been living with this one, so I guess it's okay. It's best that it can be, I guess.
Oh, it's cold. That's cold. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself and slowly back out as it's cold, and you can do your poem.
All right. So, I did try to stay on theme. I had to go look in my old stuff, and so we got my old poem called "The Colors Within Me," and yeah, here we go. I am not black enough for you, and yet, in the same breath, you will tell me I am not white enough either. You will never be satisfied with the color of my skin, the pigment of my melanin. It's as if you see me and you're angered by the story that rushes through my veins. It's no longer one-sided, no pieces missing. You see the timeline of our nation within me, and you hate it. I've grown up with the stairs. I learned to recognize them since I was 3. They came from both sides, both black and white. They held questions within them that made me want to run and hide from my inheritance. They asked me, do you know the weight of your existence? Can you even fathom how easy you have it compared to your ancestors? How white privileged you are? How black confident you are? How neither side can claim you without it being a declaration of war? That your halves will feel more like enemies than lovers most days? That your bloodline is a cocktail of 2 polar socioeconomic statuses that were supposed to be as compatible as oil and water. That one side was once holding the whip and the other preparing to take the strike. You stare and shoot at me very charged questions. You want me to take sides, paint one black and one white, make racism my legacy. Not today. Yes, I know the weight of my blood that runs with my black brothers and sisters underneath an African sun flies over the grasslands that speaks and tugs of my ancestors. Yes, I know the sweet sing-song words of a plantation owner wife as she coos at a black slave who will be hung the next day. His crime being the object of a white woman's affection, not because of the object part, but because of the affection. Yes, I know that there are men and women within my body who are seen as animals, and as animals often do, toiled underneath the white hot sun, digging at the earth and giving it life with their blood that spilled like the waterfalls at the crack of a whip. Did it ever occur to you that when I walk, I can still hear the chains that grasp the feet of those before me as they ran in the underbrush, humming songs that almost sounded free? That when somebody touches my hair, I'm reminded of how tame the black in me is because of a slave owner's hands clipping the wings of my great-great-grandmother, her all beautiful blackbird, and him a vulture wearing a dove's white plumage as clothing. That when I talk too loudly, I am shunned by the same blackbirds that helped create me and will be told that my voice is meant for a Black woman, not me. But in the same moment, my blood washes over these memories as a crimson tidal wave and replaces the sounds that haunt me. I can no longer hear the ghost of the hunters and the hunted. Instead, I hear the jovial voice of the white abolitionist in my veins as he arranges the paper to set my blackbird brothers free from their cages. I hear their songs as they fly away, calling themselves Americans, seeing them streaking across the endless sky, their wings beating the air with the sound of drums, and I spread my own wings and fly away from the cotton fields, my feathers not obsidian black nor ivory white, but a soft gray with sharp edges of iron, and I soar till I perch atop a lamppost, see and watch brave young men and women stay rooted in their spots, surrounded by creatures with angry hands and voices as these black statues crave quietly, tongues and mouths wanting in complete stillness, the silence hungry, their presence demanding to be served. I cheer inside that courtroom when brown versus board becomes a victory in a war we have never stopped fighting. I sit next to the little Black girl, listening to the radio, Martin Luther King's voice baptizing the room with his dream. I hold hands with both my Black and white family as we march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, knowing that I am marching for something worth living for. And my hands shake as much as Lyndon B. Johnson's did as he signed the name at the bottom of the civil rights movement, our blackbird wings beating to the sound of drums that boast of victory and reverently. My wings fold in silent awe like a preacher's hands in prayer as I stand in the courtroom, Richard Loving saying his vows to his wife, his white hand holding her black and seeing it as equal and worthy of love. So to answer your question, do I know the weight of my existence? Yes, and it is everything. It is a cocktail of soul music and 80s pop, the music my parents raised me on, a love story that was allowed to be anything but tragic, anything but forbidden, where they were safe to let their love grow, breathe, taking form, knowing at one point their hands wouldn't have been intertwined, but set about doing the task society forced upon them. Yes, I know that my curls screamed of blackness tamed by a white hand softness, but that hand belongs to my mother, so how can I not love it? That in my body, enemies became lovers, and have a world where love is all that is needed. This land is not the motherland, nor the virgin land. It is not a cage for blackbirds, nor spacious skies. We have not won this war yet, but we have just begun to fight. As long as there is air in our lungs and our wings beat with drums, we are still fighting. I am still fighting. The war in my body is still raging, and I can still hear chains rattling, smell bodies baking in the sun, and see both sides running towards a day where blackbirds are not hunted down and shot in the middle of the street, where Black people won't see whiteness and fear the color, but see them as brethren, where white people will stop labeling Black people as aggressive and start labeling them as human, where doves and blackbirds marry and no one says a damn thing. I am still praying. I am still fighting. How can I not when my heart beats to the sound of war drums and wings taking flight?
Yes, Kai, yes.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Clap for Kai. Give it up for Kai.
Wow. Fire.
My goodness. Woo.
Kai Brackens, unmute her. Kai, where can the people find you online?
So you can find me at Kai_LoudFactMixPoet. That's on IG, or also on IG at Kylene2001, and then also on Facebook at Kylene Brackens. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Kai. Appreciate it. Make sure that you check out Kai. Kai, put your info in the chat as well. Moving along, next coming up is Jenna Can Do No Wrong Fleecing. Where is Jenna? I saw Jenna not too. Oh, there she is. I got her. Unmute her.
Hi.
Hey, Jenna, there we go. We got you. You ready to get it in?
Yes. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is a poem, and it kind of goes, it's on the theme, and it kind of discusses the idea about how when we're born, we're dependent on our parents, and then we're dependent on people in general, and we end up growing up and told to be more independent. And after we gain that independence, for example, for me, you take care of those people who you were dependent on in the past. So this is about my grandmother. And it's called Puzzle Pieces. For the first 14 days of my life, you raised me. And every single day after that, you never let me forget. You fed me mashed vegetables, let it fill my stomach until you had to empty my diapers, and did it all with the brightest crooked tooth smile. Every morning I wake up to your salt and peppered hair mishmashed cut. You encapsulate beauty with knees that have betrayed you. You stand straight at a tall 5'2" without standing at all. When you rest your head on your pillow, your snores are music to my ears, etched in like a melody I could never want to forget that lets me know you're still breathing. I hear the drums against the tabla at the thought of you, and am reminded of how you would shake your hips to each of the beats while bending your hands, waving them from side to side before you do your zahlit. You are my partner puzzle piece. That isn't always in the box, but when we get put together, I know I am whole again. And even when you are so far away from me, I still know that there is someone so perfectly fit to each of my corners. Life without you would be a puzzle with no puzzle master. It would be like ripping air straight out of my lungs, like I wouldn't be able to live without you. You took care of me for my first 14 days. I hope I get to take care of you for your last.
Wow. Unmute yourself and give it up for Jenna.
Get it, Jenna.
Thank you.
Jenna could do no wrong fleecing. Let me unmute Jenna. She should be able to unmute her. Go ahead. You should be able to unmute yourself. There we go. Jenna, where can the good people find you online?
Well, you can follow me, my poetry account. It's Jenna's Poems. And yeah.
With a Z at the end.
Yeah, at the end, yes. And I'll make sure to drop it in the chat. And I came back to the city now from Vegas. So I'm not in Vegas anymore. I'm back here. So I kind of took a break for like a week because I didn't know I was moving back to New York. And then they were like, come back to New York. So I kind of had to get everything together. But I'll be posting more regularly moving forward since I'm going to be quarantined for 14 days. So that's fun. Yeah, so I'll definitely be posting more. Thank you so much for the platform. I really appreciate it. Good luck to everyone who has to go. We've been doing so far. Great so far, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenna. That was Jenna Fleeson. Moving along, we are going to speak with Wendy Jackson. Let me unmute Wendy. Oh, I like the shirt. How are you, Wendy?
I'm doing fine. Doing wonderful. Very nice. Hello,
Awesome.
Everybody.
You ready to get it in? You got your poem ready?
I have it. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
I have a piece here that I wrote for my parents quite a few years ago. So it's dedicated to them. So here it is, because I tried to tell them no matter what happened, I learned from them, and that made me who I am. My father wasn't happy about it, but hey, it is what it is. All right. It's called I'm Thankful For. I'm thankful for the life I was blessed with on the 26th day. A mom and dad who rarely saw things the same way. The guidance and protection that were constantly there. The encouragement and expectations that showed that they cared. A patient mother who selflessly gave up on a dream. An impatient father whose comments sometimes created a scene. Laughter, tears, good reports, and bad. Family, few friends, happy times, and sad. Strong, proud parents whose love always showed through. Supportive words, outstretched hands, and tons of gifts too. My past, with memories too poignant to name. My present, with experiences that are never the same. Diligence, ambition, high hopes, self-esteem, motivation, perseverance, and the Jackson 5 team. What I am and whom I am yet to be. Your presence, purpose, and passion, mom and dad, your legacy. Thank you.
Wendy Jackson, unmute yourselves and give it up for Wendy. Wendy, and I even liked, I don't know what you were looking at, Wendy, but there was one line towards the end where you looked off to the side as if you saw your parents. I don't know if you did.
No, they're not. My parents aren't here. No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a friend of mine who was just messing with me in the background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it added to the production value. I liked it. Where can the people follow you online?
IG, Walk Like Wendy. That's the name you see in the square on the screen. And that's basically it. I'm on IG.
Awesome. Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks
I
for the
appreciate
support
you.
and the fun in the family. Thank you.
Wendy Jackson, Walk Like Wendy on Instagram. Make sure you give her a follow. Next, coming up, representing the Bronx, it's Net Vega. Unmute her. She should be able to unmute herself. There we go. What's going on? How are you?
What's up, guys? Good. Hi. Finally, I get to do a poem with you hosting. Oh, I'm hyped.
I know. We never get to do it. If you do a poem, and when I check out the Thursday night and you're on there, it's like I'm catching the end of you, or I'm catching people in the chat talking about your poem, and I missed it. So I'm excited.
You always miss it, man. Always miss it.
So you read? Oh wait, hold on 1 second. That's right. I had to mute you, folks. I want to let you know something. Ms. Net Vega lives in the Bronx, but has never been to the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. And I found this out on Thursday. And on Thursday, I was hosting for La Bruja, so I couldn't mute her. But we're on Mondays now, so I get to mute her. But all right, we're going to unmute her, so I'm going to let all of you hear her poem. I told you I was going to do it. I told you I was going to do it.
Listen. I got 3 little excuses for that, okay? Come on, give me a break.
Don't bring your kids into this, but okay. I'm gonna mute myself and I'm gonna let you rock out. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So this is a new piece. So it goes with the theme. It's called Saturday Traditions, so bear with me. Every Saturday morning, I would wake up to some music. I'd hear salsa playing as mommy sang along swing. She'd sing to Frankie Ruiz, La India, or some other salsero. She'd even end up playing some Evi Crespo. Oh, how these Saturday traditions never miss their day. I would groan and cover my ears, hopes that asleep I would stay. I would toss and turn, but freeze when I'd hear her footsteps getting closer to me. I would pray she'd let me sleep so that I wouldn't have to do chores so early. It was 7 a.m. on a Saturday, but this became routine to me. As mommy wore her bata and her hair in a doobie, she would sing like no one was watching and swept the house thoroughly. She would sweep from inside out as part of her superstition. She'd always had her incense, the mal de ojo, the café con leche, and galletas, which became a part of my image. Every Saturday morning, I would hope she wouldn't wake me purposely. I had to clean the house and wipe down the chinero, including every taza individually. One by one, I dreaded the job, especially when it was my turn to match socks. It was so early in the morning, but Saturdays rocked. We had a list of to-dos to keep us amused. Sábado Gigante was on our list to never miss. From La India Maria to El Chavo, we would laugh for hours. In between her novelas, we made sure to hear our horoscope with Walter Mercado. I loved our traditions. Everything we did had a lesson in it. My mom raised me to respect my elders. She would tell me, lava tus platos después que termine de comer. Lava los trastes para que no piensen mal de usted. She would explain that having manners would take me a long way. I would take her advice, and when I'd visit my friends, I'd clean every dirty dish after my plate. Every Saturday morning at 7 a.m., it never failed, mommy would wake me up singing. I would wake up to a house full of her favorite smells. As annoyed as I would get, I always respected her ways. She raised me to be specific and helped me find my way. Every Saturday morning when I would wake up hearing my mother's voice, she'd sing with such passion that I couldn't help but feel overjoyed. Although at times I'd get annoyed, I'd quickly snap out of it as I froze to take in those special moments. A snapshot of these traditions allowed me to make the best out of it. Mi India linda, those Saturdays me mataban, but I loved every second.
Yes, unmute yourself and give it up for Net Vega.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it, baby.
They loving it. That is not an excuse though for her to miss the New York. But nonetheless, it was a
Let it
great
go,
poem.
advocate.
The people love it. The people love it. Please, where can they follow you online? Let them know.
Yeah, so Imperfectly Perfect. I'll put the info on the chat. I'm still working on my writing IG page. That's Imperfectly Perfect Net. And then Facebook, Janet Escobar Vega.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it very much, Ms. Net Vega. Go to the New York when it opens up. All right. Get yourself a big. All right. All right. Cool, man. You from my home borough. You know, she's from my home borough. Got to do this. All right. We're at the top of the hour. So I have to mention, we'd like to thank the NEA, the New York State Council on the Arts, and the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. You too can support us with a tax-deductible donation at nuyorican.org/contribute or via Cash App to Nuyorican Poets Cafe. So moving on, also a shout out to the homie Amanda. I saw you tag me in your stories. If you're here when you signing up, man, you writing them poetry, people need to hear it. Had to shout it out. Can't just tag me and think I'm not going to shout you out. All right, next coming up is The Withdrawn. Where is The Withdrawn? We never know what we're going to get with him. He is the wild card. That's why we love this dude. Oh, I don't see him. I see one of him, but it's not connected audibly. The Withdraw. Oh, okay. I got you now. I got you, brother. Yep. You should be able to unmute yourself.
My man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Did you have to run from work or you cool? You relaxed?
Yeah, I had to book it out of there, but I had time to shower. I still didn't eat yet. But also I wanted to say thank you for that workshop because the poem I had for that day, like I completely revised it and it sounds so much better. Like I actually paid attention to everything he was talking about. And I realized I didn't realize I repeated so many things and it's just like I shortened it. And just like it was really, really like helpful. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I'm glad that you attended. I'm glad you got something out of it. Awesome. All right, man. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Okay. All right. So they say like you'll never be as young as you are today. And so the poem is titled Letter to Tomorrow's Me. Child of God, your father did not intend for you to live every day worried about yesterday, about today, about tomorrow. You know the practice of presence. So what has happened? I don't expect you to be present every second you get, but every chance you get. I know you have career concerns and you want out of your current job so bad, but look at where you're at. You're blessed to have a job right now at a time where you could not. Your position is solid, even though you don't want it. This is but a season, and the leaves will change color soon. Snow will even show up, but your soul will always overcome. Look what happened when you did what they said, to let go and let God. All the questions you had answered, all the worries that washed away. And letting go of the pressure of what you want to do career-wise, the answer knocked at your door twice. And letting go of the pressure of catching up on everyone else's music, you started creating your own instead. And letting go of the pressure of expectations that normally exist in relationships, you found someone who looks at the mold and says she doesn't fit. Breathe more, overanalyze less. Keep up with eating and obviously you're sleeping. Don't avoid full meals because that will not fuel your writing. Listen to your body and mind when they both yell out in exhaustion. You will always have time to write. If you don't get to do it tonight, that's all right. Don't let your love stress you. Let them bless you. Know you're not forced to feel anything you don't feel yet. You'll get there in due time. What's meant to happen will always be. There's no doubt about that. Don't wonder what other people may feel about you when you know deep down what your intentions are and aren't. Protect your energy, for you know leeches don't just live in water. Detach from everyone when you must. Continue to look up. Stay in gratitude. Inspire the world around you and let the world around you inspire you. Stay inspiring you. Push yourself, but also be aware of your limits. Love and appreciate yourself with no limit. because you are trying, you are doing, and I am so proud of you. Thank you.
Give it up for the Withdrawn. Unmute yourself and clap for that man.
Man, this is different.
Wow.
Wow.
They love him, the Withdrawn. Let me unmute him real quick. Withdrawn, please let the people know where they can find you online.
All right, at The Withdrawn on Instagram, thewithdrawn.com. Also, short announcement. So part 3 for the weird poem is 95% done. I actually did like a 2.5, which is not a part of it, but it's a rap that I made. So I'm gonna do that not this Thursday, but the next. But yeah, it's almost there, and y'all keep giving me ideas. So I'm like jotting down notes as I hear people's names and handles, and it's coming. It's coming. So
all right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you, brother. Thewithdrawn.com. You can find him on all sorts of social media at The Withdrawn. He mentioned Thursday. Thursdays, we also have an open mic, in case you don't know. That is hosted by La Bruja, and we do poetry, comedy, singing, all of that. If you want to sign up for it, you go to nuyorican.org, you go to full events calendar, and you would click on the Thursday, which I think is the 6th or the 7th. I'm not sure. This Thursday, you could sign up for it. And when you sign up, make sure that you click on the artist part, because I know that there was a lot of confusion. I've been back and forth speaking with the Nuyo since everybody's been telling me. Apparently, when you sign up, there's 2 parts. You can sign up as a spectator. You don't have to, but you can, and you can sign up as an artist. So make sure you sign up as an artist. After this open mic, I'm going to try to get as much clarity and understanding what's going on. I'll pass the info off to all of you guys. So make sure you follow me online at Advocate of Wordz. That's with a Z. And as The Withdrawn talked about with a workshop, I got workshops coming in September that are going to be focused on performing on stage and on Zoom. So make sure you check that out. With that being said, let's keep it moving. Tara Lee is next. And I just saw Tara Lee. I know she's in here. Where is there? Yep, I got you. I see you now. You should be able to unmute yourself. Hey. Welcome back. This is like your 3rd time with us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. I'm glad you checking in with us. All right, you ready to do your thing?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. I am going to minimize my screen because I'm reading off my laptop. But I have 2 prompt poems for y'all today. I missed the day that you all had the one where the poem either started or ended with what happened was, or something along those lines. So I'm going to read that one, and then I have one for the elderly. So here's the first one. Well, you see, what happened was I only wanted to take his pen, find the outline of my story, and make a few edits to these dreary days stuck in the mud of routine and monotony. But I was so scared while writing. The pen slipped, leaving a trail of ink, and when I tried to catch it, my hand had too much momentum, and the tip dug into the thigh of my ego. I thought I had a high tolerance for pain, but this is worse than getting flu shots. So I'm sorry for not listening. I'm sorry for being stubborn. Please forgive me, and please call a doctor. That's that one. Thank you. And this last one for the elderly, this is an ode to my grandma. I call her Granny. So, ode to Granny. He piles more pills on the medication list, adds more trinkets to the home appliances, controls your heart with a few button clicks. He takes you back and forth, tours through the 757, meeting new nurses and doctors to remember. Frustration fills your daughter's car. It's never a peaceful drive, but you don't let that stop you from cooking fresh biscuits and spoiling the family with occasional Sunday dinners. I've plastered your resilience to memory. Your faith is a statue I'm trying to build, and your smile is framed for me to show others in my own storms. I finally understand why God named you Pleasant. Thank you.
Nice ending. Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Tara.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you.
I really like that ending. That's what's up. I enjoy it. Let me unmute Tara. Tara, where can the people follow you online?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram. That's T10. I have this sign. I don't know if I'm holding it correctly, but you can find me on Instagram at TQuest10. My Facebook page is facebook.com/Tara Lee W. That's TerraLeightW. And I have a website, which is really long to say right now because of money, but I will put that in the chat and you can see it right here. But thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you, Tara Lee. Make sure you put that info in the chat so that people can see it. And of course, I forgot, got to give another shout out to Jason Quinones and Nick Louise, who are behind the scenes producing tonight. Nick's doing most of the work, but Jason got great hair. You got to mention Jason, man. Okay, Paul Skiff is next, the OG and the universe. I love his background. I just love how it all comes together. Paul, you should, there we go. Paul, how are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm, sipping on some guaro, got my Palo Santo sparked up. This session has been so extraordinarily soulful. I'm so happy to be here with everybody and hear these kinds of tributes, And to top that off, Tropical Storm Isaias just arrived. I can hear his voice out there in the clouds making thunder. So
it just hit. It knew you were coming up next on the open mic, and it had to show up for you. So get ahead, Paul. Rock with the storm.
Yeah, this is a very long performance poem. I'm just going to skip around through a couple parts. It's a kind of just inspired by my former employer, who I ran his businesses with for about 8 years in the last decade of the 90s. And this is all kind of factual. There's some dream in it. So hope you kind of enjoy the ride. I'll just kind of plow through it. July 20th, 1994. Dear Baba, all necessary sacrifices have now been completed. Top witches met and gave consent to the medicines which I am sending today. The Alufa who made all these medicines charged heavily. He has a list of customers testifying to his expertise. The treatments will restore definitely your eyesight by the grace of God, Allah. All the preparations are so powerful that you will surely see in your dreams those people who are responsible for holding your sight from you. Yours sincerely, Bangboja. Dirty blood, crusted tear, slime clot, stale sweat, ripped skin. Do not awaken, do not receive, do not come back, do not apprehend. Be the blind one sitting in a pile of quarters, eating the black dust of a burned tree out of your hand. Be the blind one rubbing camphor into your skin and swallowing the dried powder of a cow's stomach, humming. Be the blind one singing to the radial artery in your wrist. Be the blind one calling currents and waves to your bed with the tail of an electric fish deep beneath your covers. Be the blind one hidden like money who pounds rhythm on their body at night while humming in the dark to scare off the outside. Be the blind one sitting beneath clutch of dried red peppers whose air is immaculate patience of a clay pot's mouth in which time has drooled. The society that violently gives itself an attack of pictures disappeared in transparency, innocence too near to be anything but an embarrassing smell, naive, the star-kissed kiss that has rushed its skeleton from your neck to your anus, the sourceless rumor hit by the box office in pestilential distance of the future like a real life event, the light hidden all around you? Have you shoved yourself into the only way you can be seen holding out your visionlessness like a hairy organ once dragged down? That is to now be bitten by cameras. That is what you have become. Shove yourself into your own self. Be the blind one throwing some steel onto the fire to let in the lesser gods who know how many fish are swimming tonight. Be the blind one pouring a bottle full of the river over your head. We lunching on the cracked violin of your former lives now crush in on your public moments as a free person. A bell thrown into the silence the moment the woman whose womb you filled laid down to become your mother, roasted in the noise. Change and life are not the same thing. You will not return to yourself to tease yourself. You tease the cause apart in a 3-pound universe across microscopic landscape of thought where, to try to impress you, the absolute method of sex punched you on your way home from history. False limb driving out your first wish to rule emptiness. A is now the last letter of the alphabet. Rain now comes from all the toilets flushed on this earth. There is an airplane flying backwards in the pit of your throat, churning the lie you mouthed in something as diminutive as a dream that diverts my possible demise when the 3-headed dog taunts me with, "You take 2 to the head and crumple onto Avenue B, an electrocuted crab. Your birthday sent down a narrow tube twice unplugs your knees. Your head slaps darkness onto pavement. From the high steeple of conjunction 2 dry clacks fly, peel through open window and announce with their tiny replicas the secret. The street fills up with Spanish, Chinese, and the ugliness of English stuffs you like the limp carcass of a bird as though you were necklace. Over your body, a cop blows her nose into a lace cloth. The fuzz from her hand radio jiggles the teeth in the back of your jaw. Unrecognized, through the twist in a fence at the corner, cronewort grows. It conveys up through its stem a dream that drags a nail over the back of your tongue. Today, your blood is as gray as the street. Your body is a clearing where high and low parts of the world now pass. Love, the absence and silence with their long-standing feelings removed to poverty and constriction. The ignorance of people has no measure. People are mostly wandering and lost. A passa bene bom bom ada fern lojo aso tinti cole orun bone cole aye bone cole aye
Give it up for Paul Skiff. Make sure you unmute yourself and clap for that man.
Woo!
Paul
Wow.
Skiff is an OG of the New York. You better go follow him. Check him out for his work, the work of others. Paul, where can the people follow you online?
I put the website in the chat. There's a couple new videos up there if you dig around. I'll also put the name of the person who inspired this in the chat, Babatunde Olatunji. Anybody who's interested in the culture, you should just tap Google on his name and just even read the Wikipedia. He'll lead you way deep into the culture, big influence on our culture since the 1950s. For instance, anybody who's ever played a djembe drum, it came from his influence, believe me. Thanks again, Advocate, and everybody behind the screen running this tonight. It's just, this was a very soulful session. It was really beautiful to be here with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Paul Skiff. Check him out, paulskiff.com, and he's going to put the rest of that information into the chat. So I have some good news to add on. We are going to go an extra 15 minutes tonight because of the confusion with signing up, which means Alexander Goldberg, who I spoke with you, I'm adding you to the list because of the confusion, and Monica Berger, I'm adding you to the list because of the confusion. And Abe, if you want to get on, hit me up. I will be able to add you to the list because of the confusion. We're going to fix it though, but I hit up the New York behind the scenes and they're like, all right, we could go an extra 15 minutes. So I appreciate them. So next coming up is Maxie, even though the name says Kylene Brackens, that is Maxie. How are you, Max?
I'm doing well. Someone's
Awesome.
in trouble.
You know, Max, there is one thing that kind of stinks about you being there with Kylene, and that is why Kai is reading her poem. I didn't get to see your face. It just felt so weird not getting to see your face, but I'm happy you two are getting to hang out and spend some time together. So you ready to share your poem?
I have
Go ahead, do your
two
thing.
tonight. What?
I said, go ahead, do your thing.
Thank you. I have two tonight. This one is called Cohabitation. It could be worse. I could be stuck in a little apartment, no way to pass by, like two cars in the street, avoiding the one person I'm allowed to interact with face to face, wishing it were the one person I'd be happily stuck with. Instead, it's being glad I have a place to be alone when everyone is yearning to be together, turning slowly nocturnal to match schedules, and being reprimanded for self-isolating. Quote, it doesn't apply to me. Doors locked, music humming through the air to simulate somewhere else. What counts as cohabitation? Same house, both alive, sitting to eat, saying nothing. It's hard to interact with someone who has always been farther away than 6 feet. Waiting for quarantine to end, so that goes back to feeling natural. And I just realized how bad it sounds reading that one when I just moved in with Kai. This was written earlier in quarantine. And then this one is just called Grandmother. It has been so long since I've seen you. A mistake I made on my own, busy at college, unable to come over, eat home cooking, and play Rummikub. Sit at the little table in your sunny apartment and listen to your laugh. Mom and I get our snort from you and the ducktails in our hair. When's the next time I'll see you at a family party? I literally never thought I'd miss going to family parties, but it's just because I get to see you. Hear you call us your ornery family as you chase us out of the kitchen, our hands full of sticky peanut butter fudge, tossing Hawaiian rolls to cousins, stealing your stuffed mushrooms off each other's plates. I am so glad you get to see your great-grandkids run around. Know you are the mother of generations, strongest I have known, fighting yet again your battle with cancer and now dodging COVID. You have always had my back, and now I sit outside your apartment, drop groceries at the door, wave to you on your balcony, then go home and put on the pajamas you give us every Christmas, hoping they can match your warm hugs, knowing they will not.
Maxie, unmute yourselves and give it up for Mr. Maxie. Clap, clap, clap.
Get it.
Let me mute everyone and then unmute Kylie Brackens, aka Maxie. Max, where can the people follow you online?
Y'all can find me on Instagram at maxieboy_poetry, MAXIEBOI_poetry, and then everywhere else at Maxi Boy. Same spelling, except instead of an I, it's a 1.
Awesome. Thank you, Max. I almost called you Kai because I was reading it. Thank you, Max. That was Max C. Make sure you also put that information in the chat. And Mr. Tessa Somok, I'm going to add you to the list, brother. I got you. They didn't send your name on the list either, but I'm going to be able to add you. So with that being said, remember next week, next Monday, the theme is dreams, just so everyone knows. I like the way everyone's hitting the theme today, but next week is going to be dreams. Tree, are you here? I see you're here. Yes, there we go. There is the infamous staircase. You should be able to unmute yourself. Hey, Tree, how are you?
Hey, what up? I missed y'all. I missed y'all indeed.
We miss y'all too. We miss you too, repping the Bronx. Tree, the infamous staircase. All right, you ready to do your thing?
Ready.
Go ahead.
This is not finished though, y'all. So it's gonna sound weird if I'm gonna stop midway, but this is what I had, right? Let me turn up my volume. Okay. Tonight we pour libations, write salutations to salute our fathers, the scholars of the ancient Greeks, eloquently making claims about the constellations over Constantinople, while inscribing concrete yet hopeful prayers over the future heirs of the kingdoms where opal, rubies, and gold have grown, where snow is foreign but ice is known, dripping in literal diamonds posed in the rough, where tough yet tantalizing hips, thighs, and thick lips of man's first woman travail in labor pains, producing trains of people, caravans of prequels for the movie that is mankind. And where time literally begins, sundials and wind used to suspend nature just so harvest could begin. Over this weekend, many learned that Black is king. And while we thank Queen Bee, we must see even her eminence is new school. What about Hatshepsut, masquerading as a man for several years, yet invading rival dynasties without the hint of fear? Makeba, the queen of Sheba, so thirsty for knowledge, she sought King Solomon and for his wisdom paid homage. Nandi of the Zulu created the first Hulu in that she ruled through a myriad of mixed messages, raised a son to seek vestiges of worth in anyone willing to want it. And of course, Nefertiti, a symbol of beauty for women worldwide, one of the first women to model and smize with her eyes. While I despise those whose jealousy packed in gunpowder attempted to devour my ancients, it's flagrant for me to act like even the fragrance of our pheromones ain't intoxicating, so forgive me. But painting the poise of my people in precious prose, exclaiming our power ain't changing. Instead, it's raging. Like a bull seeing red, more fire will be spread, burning any shred of hate for my people like a skilled welder. My elders got folks debating about the legitimacy of African thought. Some who even sought to disparage our skills as naught. I mean, come on now. Even now we see how appropriation is the status quo. Achievements of Blackness needed to make even a decent show, but I digress. It is necessary that others try to control my people, a means to an end that seemed unattainable. The attempt is overwhelming, a feeling that weighted my soul. I've always been shackled to my past, but was ignorant to its hold, controlled by the sight of blinding light from horizons reflecting sun's waves. I longed to feel, but somehow couldn't exist in, persisting to live by the beach. Unaware my inclination to stare out on the horizon line was my subconscious longing for home. Flashing stars, a homing device, a Morse code of sorts, showing me that even the earth knew I was displaced. Though conquest erased our memories of being Yoruba, our commencement of feeling it was rained out. So we gathered on others' lawns and made ceremonial speeches, beseeching calls of congregations, congratulations to one another, because in spite of all that occurred, we spurred on to celebrate the ability to create home. Beyond They attempted to tempt us into placating, but instead we graduated past the label of a slave laying roots in a new country and taking on a new name, still tangible and audible, leaving me almost unrecognizable because I'm home, but I left home. But I realized what I would be. It had me captivated in its story, my glory. A woman of African descent, unsure of purpose, but sure that I'm home, feeling myself and knowing I would never be alone. Thanks, guys.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Tree.
Yes.
Don't do nothing to that. Leave that happen.
You love Tree.
Can y'all hear me?
Hold on. Yeah, we hear you. Hold on. Let me mute everyone and let me unmute Tree now so that she can speak, dropping that science. Hold on. Wait, unmute yourself, Tree. You got to unmute yourself. You can't unmute yourself. I'm trying to unmute you. Tree, unmute yourself. I keep clicking unmute. All right, we can't hear you, Tree. Damn. All right, so that's Tree. You could check her out. Make sure you put into the chat where it is. I think it's Dimple Tree, right? Am I remembering? All right. On Instagram, you can check out Tree, Dimpled Tree. And if you ever saw one of the video promos we did for the New Yo, her and her son appeared in it. And this month, we're going to do another one. I actually am going to take some time to set up a new promo video and get a lot more of you involved. So I'm really eager about that. So I'm sorry we couldn't unmute Tree. I don't know why it won't unmute for her. We heard her whole poem, though. Just so you know, Tree, we heard your whole poem. So Dimpled Tree on Instagram, make sure that you check her out. Next coming up is the daddy to be, Rich Glennon, coming out of Queens. He should be able to unmute himself now.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, daddy to be. When is the date? When are we expecting?
October 24th.
Oh, okay. You got some time. I think that's Scorpio, right?
Yeah.
Exactly right. My sister's born October 25th. That's how I know. But all right. Enough family talk. We're here for the poems. Let's hear it, Rich. Go ahead.
Well, I guess we're going to be going right back into family because in line with the theme, I have 3 poems here, each about a different family member. The first one is called Peeling Petals, and I wrote this one about my grandpa. He lived to be about 89, 90, but he kind of outlived his mind a little bit. So I wrote this one about visiting him at the hospice, and it's called Peeling Petals. La Boheme convulsed like a fish before us during visiting hours. Your dry lips leaked simmering syllables. I strained to hear the boil, poured over the chocolate stains for meaning. Your hands, cold with emptiness, scorched with purple galaxies, reduced magazine paragraphs and shiny models to fragments, chins and shins. Okay. This one is going to be a little bit lighter. I started with the heaviest one. This one is just called Men, and this is about this includes my mother, and it's called Men. When I was around 9 or 10, my mom's boyfriends would say to me, "I don't know how you got so normal," when my mom was acting up and they wanted someone on their side. And even though they were insinuating that my mom was bananas, it worked. Men. Okay. So that's Men. And this next one is called Backing Up. And this one includes my father-in-law, as you'll see. Backing up. As my father-in-law was backing up, my wife cautioned him, "Watch out, there's a dog. Don't hit the dog." And there was a dog, a normal black dog, too big to pick up. "There's a person too," said the dog's owner, following a couple of moments behind. She smiled at us as she walked past the truck. We all laughed, but I hated her for that. And I made the decision right there, as the truck reversed, that if this memory was ever reminisced by my wife or her dad, I would smile, maybe even laugh a little, and agree that that was funny, because normal people wouldn't find that woman hateable, at least not in that moment. All right.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Rich Glennon.
Get it.
When he started talking about the truck backing up and there was a dog, but then a human followed behind, I was like, hit the human, not the dog, please. I'm horrible, right? I'm sorry.
I think that's why my wife was worried about him hitting the dog, not the human, you know?
Hit the person, not the dog.
Exactly.
Rich, where can the people follow you online, brother?
Rich Glenn on Tumblr and on Instagram.
Awesome. Make sure you put it in the chat. Thank you.
I will.
Rich
Thank you.
Glennon, coming out of Queens. I'm going to stay in Queens as we move to Ray Jane with her website. It's rayjane.com. Ray, how are you this evening?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. You're going to have to speak up just a little bit. I know you go in with your poems, but you know, the people want to hear a little bit before.
You hear me better now?
Yes, yes, yes. So you feeling good? Everything going well with your website?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Rayjane.com, is that what you mean?
Yeah, because it's like right there. I see it right there, right under your face. It's awesome. It's rayjane.com. All right, Ray, go ahead. Do your thing.
All right, cool. Thank you, Advocate. First of all, it is such an honor to be in the room with all of you. Everything you guys have spit so far is just beautiful. Thank you for sharing and for letting me take up space with you. So this one is along the lines of the prompt. And this is also about my grandmama. It's called Grandmother. The other day, someone read my shadow, turned cards to tell the tales of my romance, walked the tight ropes of lovers crossed, made stars in my sky, discerned who I've worshipped for too long. And she struck me, speaking of you, had to be you, grandmother. The ancestor, she said, was most vocal, shouting the decimals in my dowry, daring me to forget my worth, reminding me that I deserve. I know it was you, grandmother. You originated the hustle in my blood. At least you are the ancestor that hustle is most readily tied to. I relished the stories. Mama would tell me how you had mad savvy, how the hustle must have also made you a little mad, a little stark raving. I learned conviction from you. I vividly remember singing in church dress under simple storefront shingle with 5 parishioners, including us, banging tambourine, basking in your love while singing hymns from tiny but already able throat. I remember how your chest stuck out when we would get thrown off city bus because you were preaching again, warning weary travelers of the fire and brimstone awaiting their already tired feet. Repent, you would scream. I would bleed, embarrassment, waiting for that telltale burst of air. The sound only city bus brakes make. The sound that expertly mimics the waning patience of MTA bus driver just before he gets to not so politely demanding our exit. It was a long walk back up Ralph Avenue, but you were committed to your message, and even in my small youth, I could dig it. So I respected your oddities because you stood. You could never be confused for domesticated. You cat were wild. So of course, when unfolding my shadows, you would make your voice clear, piercing me or the balloon of bullshit I filled myself up to be, still swiftly popping me for being disrespectful. But this time you remind me to gather myself. Thank you, grandmother, for working and toiling in toilets well beneath you, but never too high to scrape knees for your family eventually, gathering them all from Jamaica, bringing mommy, and thus making it possible for the bringing forth of me. I know it was you, grandmother. Your voice founded mine. I proudly wave your flag, knowing to whom my territories belong.
Ooh, unmute yourself and give it up for Ray Jane.
Yes.
Love it, Ray.
Queen shit.
Ray Jane going in. I saw some people in the chat telling Ray Jane she needs to make an album. Ray Jane actually has a SoundCloud. And can you find that SoundCloud on itsrayjane.com? Is that true, Ray Jane?
That is correct, advocate.
So don't wait for the album. Go get it. I love the voice. Where else can people find you? Where else do you want to direct the people, Ray?
Oh, you can find me at itsrayjane.com or on Instagram at 3_4 THSCLRVYNT.
Awesome, Ray. You know I appreciate you. I always appreciate you coming on and killing it with the voice. Y'all better go to itsrayjane.com. Thank you, Ray.
No doubt. I'm excited to hear the rest. Let's go. Let's go.
Ray always giving so much energy. I love it. I love it. But it's always funny. Every time before she does her poem, I always have to be like, Ray, can you speak a little louder? Ray, a little closer to the mic, Ray. That's the next thing you need to do, Ray. You need to get yourself a professional mic. That's the next investment. She's like, oh, you making me do all these things. Told her SoundCloud, then she went and got a website. Now you need to get the mic. Okay, next coming up, let's keep moving along because like I said, we added people. Deborah Sansone. Where is Deborah? There she is. I saw her before and I see her now. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
Hey, great. That's a tough act to follow, Ray Jane, but thank you for your energy. Wow, and everybody else too. I'm gonna. Yeah.
This is now you were on with us on Thursday, correct?
No, last Monday was my first time with you guys.
Oh, okay. Because I hosted Thursday as well, so I got a little mixed up. But yeah, I would say it's your second time with us.
I would like to do one of those. I didn't do it this week. I did last Monday.
Okay, awesome. So I'm glad to have you back, Deborah. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm going to do 2 poems. The first one's short. The second one is to the prompt. The first one is from my new book. The book is Third Eye on the Prize, and website, I'll post it, of the same name. The poem is called Iris, and that is the eye, not the flower. The pupil is a cipher, doorway to vision, exquisitely attuned sentinel of photons and desire. My daughter's cat taught me this, sitting contentedly by the window, turning his gaze upwards toward the overcast sky. Still bright enough to shrink his pupils from circle to almond sliver. They plumped out again when he turned his head back toward the inane shadows of man-made shelter and boredom, until a bird flurried by, a flash of feathers whipping Whiskey's head around to follow the whooshing whir of wings. Like lightning, his attention now ignited by intention. And though the light had not changed, Iris and pupil were suddenly servants of desire, agreeing to open fully to the promise of pursuit. And here is my response to the prompt, and thank you for the prompt. Just wrote this one over the weekend. Hang on, I gotta grab it here. I do not have this memorized. Okay. My father never got to be an elder. Robert Clifford left the earthly plane 32 years ago, 4 years younger than I am now. Not his karma to be an old man, white-haired, long-bearded, stooped over, moving slowly. In fact, he was the antithesis of slow, a fast-driving, lane-changing, loogie-spitting, loud-clapping, loud-laughing agitator. Teacher, activist, union organizer, jazz-loving Marxist piano player, proud to be called a radical. In fact, insulted if you called him a liberal, which he considered not left enough. When we went to the beach, he'd sit in a lawn chair reading Ramparts magazine. He led a march down Main Street in our little suburban town in 1963. All of us arm in arm singing "We Shall Overcome." He was on the bus at the first opportunity from Connecticut to Selma to support the Freedom Riders and march with Martin Luther King, able to hear that historic speech live. It must have been thrilling. What would he have to say about what's happening now in America? Well, you know he'd be out there marching, but he's not here, not of this time. What is our stance? What mantle have I inherited? What am I obliged to pass along to my children? It's complicated, isn't it? But that's no reason to turn away from conversations begging to be had. If you ask a geneticist or a paleontologist, they'll say race is a human construct. It doesn't really exist in nature. We all originated in Africa anyway. I think about the term cracker, originally used to describe white Southerners too poor to pay the miller, so they had to crack their own corn. I think about the venom that festered beneath their scorn for Black people, spitting mad rage and fear, and behind that, self-contempt. Deep shit in the deep South. Then I think about Burl Ives singing Jimmy Crack Corn on TV in 1964, and how deeply creepy it was, even back then. But I didn't know why. It was the cluelessness, what was hiding. He seemed to have no idea or concern about the subtext. He was so happy-go-lucky. No mention of physical and mental torture. We're just swatting a blue tail fly off a horse's ass. We have to call out the remnants of that still hanging around all these years later. Examine it in the light of day. Because cracker mind is not limited by economic position, region, or nation. It's living in the White House right now. It's in the cracker in chief's twisted tweets, disinformation rants. It's in knees on necks, closing off windpipes for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. The disease has to be excised, the wound opened so it can drain and heal properly with enough time and air to circulate. Let's take our wisdom any way we can get it. The role of elder keeps shifting, like everything else, evolving, being handed off, handed down. It's our job to set our sights on what's true and not waver, steely-eyed, but open-hearted.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Deborah.
Get it, Deborah? Ooh.
Let me make sure I mute everyone and then unmute Deborah. Deborah, where can the good people follow you online?
Okay, so my website is thirdeyeontheprize.com, and my YouTube channel is Deborah Sansone. My Instagram is divine.dancer108. I'll post them in the chat. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Deborah. Powerful poem. Make sure you come back next week. Ooh, I liked it, man. Had the hair stand up on the back of my neck and stuff. Remember, next week, the theme is dreams. Now coming up is someone that I believe I met on Thursday, and I totally said her name wrong. And now I'm going to say it right because she also put it. She put it there next to in her box, and that is Marlene. Marlene, I apologize for last week. I'm dyslexic. I'm not using that as an excuse, but I know seriously I'm dyslexic, so I'm sorry I called you Marilyn. Marlene, how are you this evening?
It's Jill. I'm good. I put that because everyone mispronounces my name, and I want to make sure people get it right. So, what's up? Cool. Is it okay if I don't give an introduction and I kind of just debrief my poem afterwards?
Go ahead, get into it.
Love it, love it. I'm sorry I didn't stick with the theme. I didn't know what the theme was, but now I know. So
We got to ban her. We got to ban her. Everyone. No, I'm joking. Marlene. Go ahead. You can rock out. You don't have the theme. I like to push to try to get people to write. But if you have something else on your chest, get it off. Do your thing. Go ahead.
got you. Okay, so the name of this poem is called Panhypopituitarism, and it goes.
Wait. Say that title again. Say that title one more time.
I'm gonna spell it out for you. Watch. It's
okay, sorry.
Now you good. Panhypopituitarism. Watch. I have panhypopituitarism. Panhypopituitarism. Pituitarism. I repeat for the billionth time, trying to fall in line with my role as an educator to a doctor I just met, a doctor who supposedly went to school for this. Deep breath, suppress how upset I am, relax my shoulders, unlock my jaw, dig my nails firmly into my palms, because I know the quality of my treatment greatly depends on how polite I am. When you have a rare chronic illness, you get tired of constantly having to explain said illness and receiving blank stares and statements of inspiration from people you barely know. So you stay quiet. You refuse to acknowledge how being disabled is a burden in an ableist society that refuses to acknowledge you. You stay quiet. You downplay the emotional toll of having to constantly explain your existence to others, to healthcare providers, to insurance companies, to employers, to friends, to lovers. You stay quiet. You don't even know you're disabled for 20 years of your life because you grew up in a household that defined disability by the acceptance of a government check. One, might I add, that does not cover living expenses. You stay quiet because you prescribe to the false narrative that the only limits are the limits of your mind, because any other alternative is deemed as failure. But people forget that the mind is a part of the body too, and mine is tired of doing cartwheels and backflips to entertain people's indifference, of using words with precision so as not to hurt their feelings, reeling in my anger even though I'm the one being objectified, treated like a bird with a broken wing, too fragile to touch, too needy to liberate, too stupid to understand. But when you meet someone who's openly proud of the body she's in, you begin to wonder about those alternatives. You wonder what it would feel like if a doctor didn't question your needs, didn't make you believe that you deserve anything less than top care. Impaired would render obsolete because collectively, we know you can be complete even when your body is not. Ableism and disability rights would be taught in schools as part of the curriculum, not just enforced and debated behind shut doors of counselors' offices. This is not some far away, unrealistic dream. Although it might seem implausible, obscure, too good to be true, it starts with you, listening to people with disabilities when they say nothing without us, nothing about us without us. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Marlene.
Get it, Marlene. Get it.
Oh, shoot. Marlene made some new friends. Let me unmute Oh, I think I muted you. Wait, unmute yourself again. I think I muted you by accident right after you unmuted yourself. Can you do it?
I think I got it.
There we go. Marlene, I of course I appreciate the poem, but I also appreciate the charisma and character you gave to the poem. Where can the people follow you online?
So I am at, on IG, I'm _ Marlene, MARLYN _Suarez, S as in snake, UAREZ _ and yeah, that's it.
Make sure you put the info in the chat. And I like your hair too. I just noticed. I like how the ends of it are red. So dope. I love it. Thank you, Marlene. So that was Marlene Suarez. And seriously, I'm dyslexic. A lot of people think that I should speak about it more and share it because I'm a poet, but whatever, it's what I deal with. And sometimes I mess up. That's why I always tell people, if I mispronounce your name, you better make sure that you correct me. No matter where you go, your name's important. So I'm never going to forget Marlene now, no matter how bad my dyslexia gets. So next coming up to the mic is Norm Mathematics. My man, Norm. You should be able to unmute yourself. There you go. How are you, Norm?
I'm doing wonderful up here in the woods.
You
I'm
still
up
out in the
here
woods with
upstate New
Bambi?
York right now.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm glad you joining us. You ready to get into your poem? I think there's a
I'm
delay.
on. Let's go.
Go ahead.
There's two. Yes, there is, and I'm concerned here. Anyway, this first piece is for my mom, and then there's another piece that's for my dad. A song from Mama. Music in my bones, sucking on bay leaves, sing along with Mama. Can't climb the stairs to the choir pulpit, singing her heart out from where she's inclined. Musical standards set high, always ready for Ethel Merman, belting, whipping melodic tunes into the shape of her voice. Rich, curving harmonies, heartstrings vibrating, the fullness of a mature, vital life, and the envy of Club Grandma. Okay, so this other piece is it's called At the Beach. I go to the beach on days like this to find my father. Any day, I want to share my water with the ocean, the sight of waves falling over each other, scrambling to shore as if daddy were watching these very waves. A seaman in the Navy. How many of these same waves rolled up on the beach where you're standing right now? The spectacle of kites flying, multiple shades of wind, conjuring daddy's tales of flying kites from the Bronx tenement rooftops. Like fighting birds, razor blades hidden in the tail, cutting the cord of enemy kites, leaving them limp in the throes of falling. On the beach, sands of time, falling, shifting, carrying the same footsteps daddy walked on Bermuda pink sands, but mostly Jones Beach and sometimes Zach's Bay, picking up impressions that vibrate like a voice in my ear. A glimpse of a waning gibbous moon reaching for the horizon meant it was time for our blanket to stretch out on still, cool sands before ice melted, sandwiches wilted, or grapes turned to wine, wondering what our moon was doing in the morning sky. The idea of daddy's last breath, recycled over decades, mixing with the new air blowing off the ocean, breathing the same winds, carrying the iota and the fullness of his embodied spirit. Every day is a happy birthday, knowing I can find daddy at the beach. Peace.
Ooh, unmute yourselves and give it up for Norm.
Wow, I love that piece.
Oh, man.
That was Norm. Let me now unmute Norm. You should be able to unmute yourself, Norm, and let the people know where they can find you online.
I am at Facebook, and there's another page on Facebook called Get Home Safe, and that's the title of my first self-published book, Get Home Safe. I'm also on Instagram, and that would be Norm_Maddox. And Wordz, I have to tell you that what Ron was saying before, I've been carving up old poetry based on that workshop I took last Tuesday, man. That was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much, man. That is Norm Mathematics. Make sure that you look him up. Norm, make sure you also put that information up into the chat so that people can copy and paste. Norm Mathematics. And he used to fence, man. I love hearing about everyone's backstories too. You never know what they do. You never know. Okay, next coming up is a gentleman we haven't heard in months, and at least not on the Monday night, and that is Felix Guzman. Felix, you should be able to unmute yourself. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
It has, man. Where you been? Where you been? I hope all's been well.
Yeah, man. I've been seeing my kid. That's family court is being handled, and it's going good. Life is going good. I've keeping all my relationships healthy, just healthy relationships going forward. No craziness, no bitter, no craziness, just healthy, everything healthy. And I'm just working on me.
No doubt. Put that love out there. All right, man.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. Let's hear the poetry.
So real quick, I have two pieces. I did not get a chance to create something for the show. So I got two pieces that are close to it. This one's called "Oh, How Beautiful Is Freedom." Reflection. I wear your scars faithfully. From shame I am far removed. Proudly I endure the tomorrows between us. Of progress I am proof. Look for freedom in your eyes always. Never let it be defined for you. Weak for wanting passerby, stop your cries, you aren't. I am the truth and purpose you seek. For the moments you are lost. Darkness survived have I. It is right to give thanks and praise to trauma for blacksmithing light within, from misinforming to being beacon for the emotionally shipwrecked. Washed ashore onto islands of self-doubt. Believe your heart knows best, as better is it being in the wind than suffer for love. That includes you yourself. Dignified be when without much, let kindness become generational wealth. Worthwhile of carrying crosses, personal and impersonal, all the same. Breathe, understanding your breaths are measured so. I am grateful for your being me. Your ego when bruised builds character. Your tears when touching pavement watered the roses that grow from the concrete. Love yourself when caged within. Naked as the day born, life begins again. Within wisdom, oh so beautiful. Oh how beautiful is freedom. Forgive as you hurt, never forget me not. I'll forever in heart hold you close in old age. Thank you. And that's one. And this one is about depression. So this one's called The Caterpillar Not Turned Butterfly. I think I read this before. It's just about like sometimes being okay with where you're at and like not wanting to come out the other side, being beautiful and all that jazz, and just trying to make do, but also like conquer what's happening. The caterpillar not turned butterfly. The change into beautiful expected. Instead, I choose cannibalizing myself in my cocoon. Asleep, not dead nor aware enough to understand the darkness isn't all consuming and breakthrough is awaiting once light pierces through. I wear hunger well. In fact, bone deep, flesh becomes taut and stomach touches back. Heaven and hell I endure graciously, lost to the touch of misery right now, not a product of my environment. Is it really self-defeating or fulfilling a prophecy? Turn into butterfly was I meant, or will I drown in piss and shit? The abyss of my lacking as I gasp for purposeful breath. I am as I am yesterday, captive of my self-sabotage. World, I am the result of all the hate you gave me, hiding in plain sight. Fuck and or forget opening myself up to a new 24 hours of daylight and nighttime. I am staking claim to this nothingness. I won't exercise my demons. Instead, I will wage war with everything I am. I won't fly off, but bury myself while daydreaming. Why? Because it makes sense. Who am I, you ask? I am the caterpillar, not turned butterfly. Thank you.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Felix Guzman.
So
Yes,
this is my
Felix.
info real quick. I don't know.
Yeah, Felix, thank you. That
So
was
I
awesome,
can,
brother.
I can be reached at Felix Guzman 81, FELIXGUZMAN 81 at Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, all that jazz, and Gmail. So real quick, shameless self-promotion. I'm gonna be doing a book launch the 18th. So just hit me up. And also I have tote bags available for sale. I'm starting my own organization called Poetry Saved My Life. So check it out. Thank you. And thank you for letting me have the opportunity to speak. And thank you for welcoming me back again as well. Thank you. Love you all.
Thank you, Felix. Yes, welcome you back home. This better be your home. You better come back. But of course, man, gotta spend time with the kids. I know how that is, man. My kid keeps me alive. So we're at the top of the hour, which means that we have to do some thank yous. We'd like to thank the NEA, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. And also to the general public, a lot of you who join us on the open mic. So you too can support us with a tax-deductible donation at nuyorican.org/contribute or via our Cash App, Nuyorican Poets Cafe. And again, thank you to those of you who sign up on the open mic. This is free, and I know some of you have donated. We really appreciate it. We are a nonprofit, and right now we don't know when we're going to open back up. I keep waiting. I was hoping it'd be this month or next month, but everything's keeps getting pushed back. Of course, when we open up, I will definitely let you know. Again, another shout out to Jason Quinones, who is behind the screen. He's the one who I spoke to and I asked if we could go an extra 15 minutes, and we can. And of course, to Nick Luis, who's doing most of the work today behind the scenes. So, and we didn't even ask him if he'd stay an extra 15 minutes. So I hope it's okay, Nick. I appreciate you too, brother. All right, let's keep moving on because we still got people that we need to get to. And next coming up is Antoinette Singletary. Where is Antoinette? I saw her. Oh, there she is. I see her. I love having Antoinette on. She's got such great energy and a great voice. How are you, Antoinette?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to hear you. So you ready to share your poems?
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
All right. I have one, and then one that's on the theme, and then a short one. This is an ode to those I don't know. I never got a chance to see you. I have no pictures. I did not meet you. Sad fact, my dad lacked, only know half of my people. And I will seem like the idiot when my daughter asks me to explain our lineage, oblivious. I have not a clue. It's legitimately mysterious, and I'm curious, but who do I ask? I can't search for treasured heritage when I don't have a map, a hint, a tip, or even any proof. What do I do? Knowing half of my descendants, I guess then I live in half of my truth. So does that mean that my legacy will always be incomplete? Using unusual adhesive to piece the pieces, why is that left up to me? But I guess I'm an heir to the responsibility, and that's deep, because those before me never got a chance to be remembered. Their memory died when they did. It really is like the buried, treasured, so I'll be measured by my ability to start a new way. No prior text, so I guess I will start a new page. Oxymoronically, history begins with me. I believe my ancestry is royalty, but to not know leaves a void in me, like it's avoiding me. How do I deal with the dry spots that I got that need some moistening? So this tribute is more like a promise. I'll be honest, nothing that I do will be demolished. And the only stories I have to tell are of mine. I wish I could have been more frontline, but all I can do is pass down the genes and bloodline. Sorry, little daughter. Blame your grandfather. He didn't bother to consult his father, so our history is altered. So now you and I are deprived, but that's all right, I'm an author. So I'll write, crime myself successor, mine for gold, my adventures told, leave behind my own treasures. And I'm still working, but I'll be there soon. Passing down pictures and poetry, that's an heirloom. So knowing who I am will have to be imperative. And even though I don't know my elders, I'll still add to the narrative. So that's that one. And this other one's really short. Decisions, 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 all in the lives we are living. Sometimes we go astray, rely on our opinion, for some would rather be cut wide open than to endure an incision. When is the last time you stopped and just listened? I'm making a commitment to allow my creator to determine the mission. I'm sitting. I won't have to work out the math if I just follow the vision, won't get caught up on your concept of time. It was meant for your journey to be different from mine. So I purposely blow opposite the current, uninterested in your assurance. Therefore, all I care for are the things that I've been prepared for. The process was perfect. I don't need to relive it. I'm healed. He sealed my hurt, and I'm finished. Thank you.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Antoinette.
Antoinette, thank you.
Oh my God.
Hey, girl.
Coming with the writing, the feelings, the voice. I love it. Yeah, you should be able to unmute yourself. There you go. Antoinette, where can the people find you online?
On Instagram in my own lane 929, and on Facebook, Antoinette Marie.
Awesome. Antoinette, thank you so much. I always love when you add energy to the night. Thank you, Antoinette.
Thank you.
Antoinette Singletary. Antoinette, make sure you also put your info into the chat so that people can copy and paste. Next coming up is another regular, and that's Mr. Brian Franco. Brian should be able to, there you go. How are you, Brian?
Shalom from Brunswick, Maine. I'm trying. It's the temperature's down, but the humidity is off the hook. It's crazy here.
And you're in Florida, right?
Well, I hope not. I'm in Maine.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I always thought you were in Florida. Okay, Maine.
Well,
I remember
I
that.
would not. I don't think I would want to be in Florida, to be honest. But that's okay.
Right now, no, me either.
Or even any time, but that's okay. So today is my mother's birthday. She died in 2014, and about 7:30 tonight, I was getting my poems together, and I realized I had forgotten that it was her birthday. It's a weird thing. The first year you forget your dead parents' birthday, and I talked to both my brothers, and neither of them had mentioned her birthday, so I think they both forgot too. It was kind of weird. Anyways, I'm going to do two poems that I had written about her the year she died, and the first was the one that I read at the Shiva the evening of her funeral. And the Shiva is just a memorial service at the person's house after they die. So it's called The Tree That Hugged Its Humans. The first house my parents bought, 11 Burton Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, was a split-level brick house with a magnolia tree in the front yard. The first and only house my parents built, 305 Fernhill Court, Mobile, Alabama, was a larger split-level brick house, oaks and pines dotting the backyard. As a surprise for Mom, Dad, aka Good, had a juvenile magnolia planted in the front yard. Rita Ann Papalinis Franco, aka Mommy Salami, was awed by magnolia blossoms. Unbeknownst to her husband, this tree was male, which didn't bloom, but it grew tall, with twisted gnarled branches, its leaves large as my adult hands, a rich forest green, crisp, slick, shiny, with velvety, soft underside. As beautiful and aromatic the blossoms of magnolias are, the leaves give them their iconic strength of character. My mother's tree now is 41 years old and is tall and wide as a New England town square Christmas tree. When Mom moved to a patio home in 1993, it was half its current size. I believe pieces of my family's souls live in the tree. The roots are my father digging deeper in the ground yearly, providing stability season after season, milestone after milestone, hurricane after hurricane, barbecue after barbecue. The branches are my brothers and myself. The longer they grew, the more offshoots they produce, the more life we lived, bar mitzvahs, graduations, college, adulthood. Mom is the leaves soaking in sunlight, nourishing her tree with unbridled love and absorbing the ever-present rainstorms that plague Mobile, Alabama, and turmoil that beset our family. Rita, or A-Tier as Good called her, was a force to be reckoned with and was never without a hug for anyone in her family. After Mom died, I flew into Mobile from Maine. I asked my brother Paul to drive by the house. The tree was magnanimous. Paul stopped the car for a minute. We stared at a chunk of our history, then left for the funeral home to view the body. I know if I walked over to the tree and touched a leaf, I would have been touched by my mother's soul, a soul that would find it impossible to not hug her son from the afterlife. Thank you. And poem number 2 was the poem I wrote on her birthday after her death, and it's called Her Second First Birthday. Let me just tell you, I don't know if I believe in heaven, but it's mentioned here. So, her second first birthday. Today is her first birthday in heaven. On earth, all the florists have no yellow roses because her husband bought them all and had them delivered by Mercury himself. The Banquet Fried Chicken Company has declared August 3rd Rita Ann Papalinis Franco Day. The Cucumber Council of America has given Rita's famous cucumber jello mold a Hall of Fame award. The Carnegie Deli added Rita's kugel with pineapple, golden raisins, and a dash of cinnamon and nutmeg to its permanent menu. Michelle Obama will make Rita's onion top brisket as main dish for a small family dinner by request of the president himself. For dessert, she made that coconut pecan brittle Rita made. It's rumored the First Lady had a Secret Service computer expert hack into Rita's laptop to find the recipe. Today, the souls of people who eat salami will be enriched with optimism. Today, every fox in the world will find their way to a desert and sing the Shahachiana. Today, she would have been 81. Today, she is 81. Today, all yellow rosebuds on all yellow rose bushes in the world will open in her honor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Brian. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Mr. Franco.
Damn, Brian, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was dope, Brian. Thank you.
Love the descriptions, man. So descriptive. You should be able to unmute yourself. Brian, where can the people follow you?
I'm just on Facebook under my own name.
Brian Franco, thank you, man. I gotta hit you back. I know you sent me a message, and I keep meaning, like, that was a beautiful message you sent me. So I owe you a message, Mr. Franco. I'm gonna hit you back when we're done for tonight. So that is Brian Franco. Next coming up is Mr. Paul Conqueso. I'm sorry, I mean headliner Conqueso. You should be able to unmute yourself, Paul. There we go. There we go. So I hope. Oh wait, I went to unmute you, and then you unmuted. You went to unmute. There we go. There we go. Okay.
I think you were shaming me for missing Thursday. I think that's what it was.
Not at all, man. I got your message. I know Rosie wasn't feeling well. You had to do your thing. I totally get it. So I hope that she's well now, and I hope you could give us 100% of your energy. We good to go today?
We're good, brother. We're good.
Awesome. Go ahead, man. Let's go. Right. It is headliner Conqueso.
Always hyping me up, man. All right. So I got a real short piece, which is rare for me, but this was written during quarantine. And then I got some older shit, which is in my book. And then I'll plug the shit out of that, I guess, after I'm done. But odes bring up something, I guess it's kind of happenstance that I go right after Brian, because I also wanted to share some stuff about my mom, who I lost almost 12 years ago to the day. It seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it really was. Okay. So this first one, familiar faces. In dreams, like pages of magazines we used to tear and paste to walls as teens. First love, last love, second infatuations, family gone chasing, cascading streams of their own demise. Mother's eyes embedded in mine. Uncle Lou's a cappella voice, the timber thick as an axe's head, and the tumor which hacked away at him. The nook Grandma Anna used to make for me with her leg to sit and watch Looney Tunes. I called it Bugs. Bucktooth, my bunny bucktooth 6-year-old self, bystanding as her heart stopped yelling at us. Cousin that felt the pursuit of high feelness was worth the intubation and eventual fail. My boy Lorenzo playing chicken with himself, depression, and a loaded Smith & Wesson, none of them won. And my second mom, whose knee needed replacing oil and rotation, and we joked she'd come back bionically stronger from the operating theater, but never awoke from her dream. Summer's always been cruel to me. This one's barely begun, yet taken so much. Social interactions, touch of those I wish I could reach out and feel while in isolation, but they don't yet have the Black Mirror tech for Zoom calls to get through to the hereafter. And that's the first one. The second one is called Mother Red. Maybe I got it from you, passed down as some inheritance to the youngest, this pigeon walking squawk of the Marashkada, seeing narrow through sullen sight. Genetic is sunk in eye sockets, your concoctions of diet shakes, progesterone cocktails, half crescent cups of cottage cheese curdling like tissue left after mastectomy. Your complete leveling, hysterect to match my laminectomy, both left scars. I kept God at arm's length. You always with bookmarks in the parchment of a King James I used as substitute for Easy Widers when the money went, which it always did. And you'd let all our lights go out and then get on knees for PSE&G as we scraped to see what we could forge for dinner 4 nights a week. Latchkey, me, and Dominique. You withheld yourself at times, never from us intentionally, shrouded under covers pitch as Studio 54, but lacking all the blow and hedonist heat. Yet with infrared, I can still see us clear, poor in Newark. So cliche, but we were that. Subatomic family making it past half-life, mainly on the back of your bussing tables, waiting hand and hoof on endless processions of men not worth 1/10 of you. I think it was when I began to deprive and practice, you noticed first. Never said a word. Our private dialect of glances, shaky hands, and mandible marks unaccounted for. Everything I do, I'd claim for you, but only gauged for my own improve. You stumbled in our room one night, manic at the discotheque, pills mixed with wine and coke, going down in the early round, asking sis and me if we ever did black beauties, spewing platitudes how Quaaludes were, and I quote, the fucking best for partying, coercing MD 2020 into my 15-year-old palm, left me with this habit that I could kick, not like one that shackled me as I watched you vomit every shot, and with areola poking through, lifting you from tiled floor, dancing understandings in our holy room. Your womanity had just died, the mesh still raw, and I, in search of some man in me, locked eyes, and I knew you knew what I was, but couldn't work up the nerve to call us who we were. Eve of the night, I let you slip. Threw a party, cause fuck, who doesn't throw a party when 20, horny and with a whole house to self? You left 2 heartfelt messages prior to my deciding callbacks weren't priority. Facing the red screen blink, eyes of Azazel, only pupils eyed, led into chamber of sacrifice, run knife through palm as if lamb, but who had clue? Roxanne blaring on my alarm. You don't have to turn off the red light. As I slept through countless texts from sister, aunt, and coroner. Life's a bitch, and then you die. Ain't that what you said? Running every corner red, from Ironbound to North Ward, this whore boy's Inca glare haunting every August since now. All I see when accidentally casting eyes on all things red, like mana of our guts red, just like our ritual red, like her tresses red, like everything we are burning, her purging, and me holding her hair back through the flames.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Paul.
Like Ric Flair. Woo!
That was just Paul. Dang. Wow, baby, that was beautiful.
Did Withdrawn just say like Ric Flair? Woo! You heard that, right, Paul? I saw your face. You heard that, right?
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh no, that was Abe. That was Abe who did it, not the Withdrawn. That was Abe.
That was wonderful. The Ric Flair drip. Love it.
Love.
So I'm gonna plug my book, I guess, since that poem was from my book. I'm gonna leave the comment. It's called Disappearing Boy. You could just Google my name, Disappearing Boy, and get it from my press. Or you could friend me on Instagram at Paul Conqueso, and then you can follow it there. You could DM me if you want a signed copy yourself. So yeah, I mean, at the end of this month is gonna be 12 years since I lost my mom, which seems like an eternity. Like I feel like I don't remember what her voice sounds like anymore. And that's a really fucked up thing to feel like, you know, as a kid, but you know, that's what we got. And so when you brought this up, you know, elders, makes sense.
Totally, man. Totally. So, brother, I appreciate your vulnerability as always in sharing with us. Paul Conqueso, go look him up on Instagram, Paul Conqueso, otherwise known as Headliner Conqueso. And that name is courtesy of Kai Brackens. Okay, we are into overtime. Next coming up is Alexander Goldberg.
Yes.
Coming to us from Cali. How are you, Alexander?
I am good. I feel good, especially since I'm able to perform. I'm very grateful for that. And especially because I always try to stick to the theme. And I did include it in my poem. But the poem that I'm reading tonight is also inspired by and dedicated to a person that we all know very well. I'm not going to say who it is, all right?
Go ahead, brother. Do your thing.
All right. So, everyone remembers that at the beginning of all things in the entire universe, there was the Word. Articulate speech has distinguished humans from the rest of the animal world and made them the masters of the land. The word can heal or harm. Portuguese author Louis Marques said, words are more dangerous than swords and knives, but they can also lead into attack. Last Thursday, advocate of words read the poem that started with the phrase, "You have my word." This is how I use the word given to me. My poem is called Words on Words. It's ode to an elder. My words can be wrong, magnificent, just like the ocean, they're strong. I'm free like a bird in the sky, I belong. In best publications, words hard as a stone. My words are like echo, continuously heard. I try to express, but there's not enough words. My words are like gold, they are never aloof. My words are the works that I wrote and improved. My words give me hope for the future, believe in this. My words give me strength, and they are unambiguous. My words are so endless and timeless, precise. I promise to rock Monday night open mics. My words are the reason I'm never resigning. My words are my contract by which I am signing. My words are historic. My words can be literal. My words can be mystical, lyrical, spiritual. My words show reflection for what I have done. My words are for thoughts, and my words are for fun. My words could be fiction, my words could be fact. I show through my words my eternal respect. My words come from heart, and my words come from books. They cannot be stolen by thieves or by crooks. My words have the tempo and beat. After all, I'm grateful for hip-hop and for rock and roll. My words lift me up, so I'm way above ceiling. My words I repeat every day as I'm dreaming. My words raise me up as I'm humiliated. My words are like money that's accumulated. My words can be cold and my words can be warm. My words are enchanted. My words are like storm. My words are the universe that I've created. My words are the movies that I have directed. With handkerchief, wipe away tears that I've cried. I couldn't find words when my grandma has died. We have many issues, concerns that arise. We're feeling so dissatisfied with our lives. But who's making up us who we're destined to be? Some people can look, but they still cannot see. Despite all the bad circumstances, perhaps, we still can use words to fill all of our gaps. These words are the only key to our salvation. These words should be passed down to next generation. Through words, we can all be reborn and uplifted. The power of universe through them is gifted. Some words we regret, but just cannot recall. But words are the fire that burns in our souls. I hope that my words are affecting someone. This has been my ode to an elder. I'm done.
There you go, with the mic drop. Unmute yourself, give it up for Alexander.
Oh, Alex.
So good. Mr. Gold.
Yes. That was great. That was great.
So good.
Mr. Goldberg, even with the mic drop. I love it. I love it. Alexander, where can the people follow you online?
On Instagram is Gorbansky. On Facebook, Alexander Goldberg 35. On Twitter, Go15. I'll post it right now in the chat.
Please do, please do. And Alexander, we got a new nickname for you, courtesy of Headliner Conque. So your name is now Alexander Goatberg. GOAT, greatest of all time, man. That is fantastic. I love it. Alexander Goldberg, make sure you put your info in the chat so that people can follow you. And next coming up from Oakland is Monica Berger. But before she shares her poem, she's going to show her footwear. Nice.
Yes, to match the flowers on Frida's.
Nice. Love it. I love it. Monica,
So-
you always come correct. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm coming on stage. So when the world opens up, I'm coming out. All right. Thank you. So thanks for getting me on. I appreciate it. And my poem's called Ode to My Generation of Elders. As Maya said, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. I walk in the room with my grandmother's Eleanor Nicholin's grace, with my other grandmother Doris Bevel's shrewdness, with my Uncle Mark's humor, my Aunt Bergie's laugh, and Pop-Pop's art. I will forever carry them in my heart. They paved the road ahead and paid the toll for me. My love for big giant jewelry, for fashion and for shoes come from my grandmother's effortless style that was always ahead of their crews. The smell of hot Ovaltine brewing in a flowered china cup is what woke me up to see. As much as I was shaped politely by my immediate family, there is the inevitable dysfunctional conditioning that I walk through as well. And that is when I call on the family of my choosing, when I need to confirm my identity and dial 911 for some emergency strength. I call on my chosen elders, Frida and Bob Marley, a religion of my own, my personal spirituality. Their vision got me through when I couldn't see. Their wails brought me out of the silos when I couldn't hear. Oh, to the mighty elders that guide my every step. My feet are my carriage that got me up to stand for my own life when my family wanted me to be a reflection of their own eye. To quote the legend, we refuse to be what you wanted us to be. Frida's painted barbed wire necklace is the perfect picture of the overcoming the inner struggle. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. There is definitely a natural mystery through the air and I hear it loud and clear. It is what gets me through the daily rat race and the blah blah of the crazy bald heads. ode to my generation of elders. When I'm stuck in life's roadblocks, I call upon the heart of Nesta and Kahlo, and their one love never fails. I stand as 10,000, Oprah, Maya, and all the Marley kids. Give me that rub-a-dub style, my chosen family. One heart, one love, one destiny, which is not to give in to the system that wants us separate. So we are too busy fussing and fighting among ourselves, blinded to see what is really going on, the generational genocide that casts our elders aside right when we can learn from their wisdom to keep us blind and dumb. It is the perfect evil design. We can't forget where we stand in the struggle, and we always need to pay it forward as we give tribute to the ones that came before us.
Monica Berger, unmute yourselves and give it up for her.
Let's go.
Come on, Monica.
Ooh. Monica Berger representing Oakland.
Thank you.
Let me unmute. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I got everyone muted, and then we can unmute Monica so we can just hear Monica. You should be able to unmute. There we go. There we go. Monica repping Oakland. And again, no way we can find you online, right? Witness protection program. Okay.
Yeah.
Only place we can find Monica is here on the online open mics. Monica, I appreciate the shoe game, and I appreciate the poetry and the energy as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad we got to get to Monica Berger. I'm glad we got to her, and we got two more people to go to. And again, I want to say thank you to Jason Quinones and Mr. Nick Louise, who's working behind the scenes, and they are working a little overtime so that we can compensate for the mess up that happened online with some people who signed up but didn't get onto the list. And next, representing Jersey, this dude loves representing Jersey from day one. It is Abe. Should be able to unmute yourself, Abe. Go ahead.
What's going on there, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Abe, I know that you have checked out the online open mics. You're always giving energy. You're giving the Ric Flair woos, but I don't think you've ever shared a poem with us, have you? Or you've just shared one?
You know, I've shared on the Thursday night and once. And then actually a couple years ago, I actually spent like an entire summer at the New York. So I've been there many a times.
Okay, well, don't worry. I wasn't going to mute you. I just mean, like, have you shared with our online open mic yet?
Oh, no, only once.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you're sharing here on Monday. It's about time, Jersey boy. You need to represent. All right, let's go. Get into it.
Perfect. So I got two poems here. One of them is on topic. One of them is just an extra one. I just feel like throwing in there. But I will actually, no, I'm going to read the one on topic. That's kind of been the one I've been writing for a couple of days now and putting it together. This poem is called Dolores. I've never seen nor met her, but I swear I can feel her singing within the song of my mother's nostalgic hymns as she hums to herself pleasantly in the corner somewhere. She is the forgotten thread of my family's tapestry, and yet when music plays and that salsa sways, I can feel her. I swear I can feel it deep in my bones, buried somewhere between God and genetics. I can see her, feel her, link and in sync between us on the bare, let me get this back here a little bit, rewind a little bit. I'm just gonna read one. Dolores. I've never seen or met her, but I swear I can hear her songs weaved within my mother's nostalgic hymns as she hymns to herself. She's the forgotten thread in my family's tapestry, and yet when the music plays and that salsa causes me to sway, I swear I can feel her. Deep in my bones, buried somewhere between God and genetics, I can feel her bare feet in sync with my own across a wooden dance floor as I move and step and chase a forgotten story. Conjuring spirits on the skins of congas, I know I can see her. Through the eyes of my grandmother, I can feel her. Through the warmth of my mother and her smile. Mi negra Dolores. Though that may not be her name, she was born under a foreign sky. I claim her as my kin all the same. I'm alive because she survived the atrocities under lock and key, shipped like livestock across the sea, often into an unknown place. And yet somehow I'm here because you were there. You lived and loved and you persevered enough to have a child. Maybe out of love, or at least that's what I'd like to think. But at least I can give her ghost a name, Dolores.
Woo, that was Abe, and you should be able to unmute yourselves and give it up for Abe now.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, guys?
Yes.
Woo, giving them the Ric Flair. Woo, let me unmute Abe real quick. Yeah, you should be able to unmute yourself now, brother, so we can let the people know where they can find you online.
Thank you very much, guys. You can find me on IG at fisticups or fist_2_cups on IG, and that's pretty much where I live at, man.
Awesome. Abe, man, it's good to see and hear you on a Monday night, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
That was Abe. And before we get to Mr. Tesosomo, who's going to end the evening, I want to give a shout out to some people who weren't on the open mic, except for one, Monique McPherson out in UK. You are still up with us, and we are going to overtime tonight. Thank you for sticking around. Mr. Strangeweather, who I met on Thursday, I appreciate you. Stephen Sullivan, Joy Palmer, AMD. Let me see who else is here that wasn't on the open mic. Pip Squawk, as always, showing love. Ron, who is here. Overdose, man, how them Yankees looking and how them Mets looking. But I'm sending love to Overdose today, man, because he's had to keep the shop closed. He may have to shut it down. I hope he doesn't. Keep it going. Of course, to Umberto Marte, who's always here, always showing love. My shit is here, and she's always giving love. Mariela Cabrera, who we know is a real person, is here. And Maryland, not Marlene. I know we have a Marlene, but there's also a Maryland here and a Rianne here. So I think I covered everyone who's still sticking around with us who hasn't been on the open mic. And Paul Conqueso is asking, how can they support Overdose? Overdose, put your information in the chat if the people want to follow, and you can get it hooked up, man. And it's a shame too, because Overdose, like, not only they sell the sweets in the bakeries and all that, but like he's opened it up to the communities and whatnot. And like Bronx Bound Books, he's opened up the home for them. He's always opening it up if poets want to come there, do something, fundraisers, whatever it is. So Overdose, put your information in the chat, because the people want to get together and make sure they can help you if possible. So with that being said, our final poet of the evening is Mr. Tesosomo, coming out of Cali and not Texas. No, how are you, sir?
Good.
I'm glad we got to you. Yeah, you're breaking up just a little bit. I'm glad we got to you. Sorry about the confusion. So,
Yeah,
and yes,
no, I'm, okay.
So go.
So tonight I'm styling these hot watches. So nobody feels jealous at me. I have two short pieces that are on the theme. This first piece is titled Teshkalapan, Streams Around the Bus. My mother kneels at the stream's edge. She bathes me on a rock.
Wait, I'm sorry to have to stop you. You keep breaking up. Mr. Tesosomo, you keep coming in and out.
Do I? Damn. How about now?
Yeah, it's really hard to hear you. It's not just a little hard, it's really hard. It keeps coming in and out. It sounds like not only you're underwater, but deep underwater. Maybe I hate to ask you to do it, but maybe if you turn your video off, you may have a better connection. Sometimes that happens.
All right, let me do that.
We got to see the shoe game though. Monica, you got competition, Monica. All right, go ahead, Mr. Tesosomo.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
No, it's still coming in and out. It's still good. Can anyone hear him well? Is it just me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear him well, not thumbs down. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm not the only one. Everyone's having a hard time hearing you.
Hold on. Let me switch real quickly to my song.
So while he tries to get it in order, one more time, let me give my last thank yous to the NEA, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. The New York is still closed. We don't know when it's going to open. You too can support us with a tax-deductible donation at nuyorican.org/contribute or via our Cash App, Nuyorican Poets Cafe. And another shout out to Jason Quinones and Nick Louise for doing some free overtime so that we can make sure we get people on here after the mess up. And I see that Mr. Tessa Somok is trying to come in with a different account. And let's see if that works. I'm going to unmute that account. You should be able to unmute yourself on the new account, Mr. Tessa Somok. And let's see if we could get this going. Hello?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, speak.
All right. Let me shut off the other ones so I don't get the feedback. All right. Thank you for being patient. Can you hear me now well?
No. All right, let's switch accounts. Let's try one more time. Go ahead.
How about now?
Oh, perfect. Go ahead,
Okay.
brother. Rock out.
All right. So this piece is titled Texcalapan, at the stream surrounded by rocks. My mother kneels at the stream's edge. She bathes me on a rock. Her knees press hard to support me. The calluses on her knees bleed. As the stream draws the young reed from the roots, I am cut at the nape in the fashion of a reed flute. Cast in jade and gold, come from the fleshless. I draw the player's win. I play my mother's songs at the stream surrounded by rocks. The stream is Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror. He is me turned into a corn shoot, cut at the roots. The sound of the conches wake the temples, the loud chatter of children running fill the marketplace. My mother buys green chiles from a Huastec. She grinds me into a chirmole in a mortar, feeds me to the family. The warrior from the south is my father, cast from the sun. He bathes at the stream surrounded by rocks. I'm going into him. Coming out of him is a yaqui tilling the land. The sweat on my brow is my grandfather's sweat. It is why tortillas are salty. I'm old. The songs I played for my mother, she plays for me. She is the song's instrument, which draws my wind. She is the reed blown by the wind, cast in jade and gold. She is the flute. I kneel at the stream's edge. My knees bleed. My toes are dug into the mud, and I bathe my mother on a rock. All right, and then this is my my second concluding piece. My Uncle Pedro. Uncle Pedro sits in the back of the old hacienda. There he talks to the 4 mute dogs he has collected through the years. People make fun of him. They say he's crazy, that he's so stupid, you know? The neighbors claim the midwife spanked him too much and too hard. I don't care. I like Uncle Pedro and his dogs. His dog North is reddish, strong, and mean looking, but he doesn't bite me. South is watery, slippery, and playful. We play together on the shafts and straw of the thrash bean plant till we tire. East is cold, gloomy, childlike. West is humorous, tricky, and always into trouble, chasing chickens, hogs, whatever he can get away with. Uncle Pedro talks to them. I hear him recite poetry then. A place of thirst, a place of hunger, a place of gladness, a place of no joy, a place of exhaustion, of fatigue, or torment, Saúl. He lets me listen too sometimes. I know Uncle Pedro is no stupid. He stood against the man who had cut out the dog's larynx because their very nature had disturbed his sleep, defeated the dog owner, told Uncle Pedro to take his stupid dogs like him. Uncle Pedro has not been bothered and accepted North as his guardian, South as his compassion, East snuggles up against him, and West provides excitement and laughter. With all my talk, I can't break into their silence, their friendship. Lately, Uncle Pedro had not felt well, his night vision gone and his teeth had fallen off, and the tuberculosis had started to hack pieces of his lungs out, and he asked me if I'd take care of his friends. Yesterday, they took him away, even though the dogs would not let them. I can't go to sleep. I miss Uncle Pedro.
Mr. Test.
And his insanity. But I swear I have been hearing these small voices in my head. Here we lay you down, Pedro Humano, here where the Asherite spring rises and your heart will be cast in gold and jade. Thanks.
Mr. Tesasomo, unmute yourselves and give it up for our last poet of the evening, please.
Yes.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! My man over there.
Mr. Tesasomo, he getting the Ric Flair, the woo. Let me unmute him. I'm sorry, man. I had cut you. You should be able to unmute yourself. I cut him off, but you were just having a moment. I apologize about that, man.
No problem.
I appreciate you going there. I appreciate every time poets go there and allow themselves to be vulnerable like that. And I appreciate it. Please let the people know where they can find you.
They can find me at Gashes 2019 and I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. Thank you folks for waiting up and sticking around. Hopefully those were worth it for you guys.
Totally. Make sure you check the chat. Put your information in the chat and read the chat because people were saying that exact thing, that it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. So again, we usually end before 10:30. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Nick, for staying up so that we can accommodate the people. Appreciate it so much. Go to nuyorican.org. Next time when you guys sign up, make sure that you sign up where the option is for artists so that we know that you could read. Going forward, I'm going to find out all the information. I'll make sure I'm put it so that it can be very clear for everyone. Next week, the theme is dreams. So also, tonight was a heavy night, and if you want to go back and you want to hear poems or you want to see yourself perform, you go to the Nuyorican Poets Cafe on Facebook, Nuyorican Poets Cafe, and the recording is there all 2 hours and 48 minutes now. So I got to end this before they kill me. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for sharing what you've written. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for taking the time to listen, especially tonight. Good night, sweet poet. May your dreams be as imaginative as your poems. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for inviting us into your homes. This has been the Monday Night Online Open Mic by the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. I have been your host, Advocate of Words. And after tonight, after such a heavy night, please do something relaxing. Do not go onto YouTube or Twitter to see what Donald Trump or Joe Biden had to say today. Avoid it today, man. Avoid it today. All right, Nick, we're done. Take us home. Peace.